Alright, welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing Podcast, Mega Saturday edition for everybody out there. Good to have you on. This is your host, Mr. BDA, and as always with me, my co-host, King Bucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Sensational. Now, if you guys want to join us, you know the drill. Go to Google Hangouts, send us an instant message with the email address that's on the top of your screen. That's boxingdebate@hotmail.com. boxingdebate@hotmail.com. Lots to talk about, even though there's not that much going on today. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe. Don't forget you can make small donations via the super chat feature, small tips, or go to our Patreon page where you can donate as much as you want. $2, $5, $10, $20, whatever. We're trying to get this call-in show off the ground, and so we appreciate everybody's contribution so far and everybody's support as well. Let's give a shout out to everybody that's in the chat room. We got Subash Kunwar, Antonio Garza, Mario G, Fight Fan Phil, Original Bruno, Boxing Killers TV, Double A, Recognize the Matrix, Pavel, Elias Tamisalo, and many more to come, I am sure. Good evening, gentlemen, says Elias. Boxing Killer says Mexico will get to the quarterfinals. Let's hope so. Precise is in the chat room as well. Del Boys Boxing News. Speaking of the news, they're saying that Dylan White versus Lou Ortiz is still a possibility, according to Eddie Hearn. I tell you, there's lots to talk about. Charlotte Trout taking place next week. Trout is getting fed again to top. I mean, the guy's good, but can they at least match him up with some decent opposition that he can beat to at least get his confidence back or something? They're just throwing him to the wolves at this point. Spence says, that's the other thing. I want to talk about Errol Spence because he says, oh, you know, I want Terence Crawford, but I want to clean my side of the street first. So that means that there's a possibility that since Danny Garcia and Sean Porter are going to be taking on each other, Errol Spence is saying he wants to fight the winner, and now he's saying he doesn't want to take on Crawford until he, meaning Spence, cleans out his side of the street. So that might be good news there, people. We might end up seeing Errol Spence against another top guy. And that's the thing that I wanted to mention about Errol Spence. Look, I respect the guy tremendously because of what he did going to England, taking on Kell Brook, you know, walking through his punches and in the end ended up stopping him. But let's be real about it, guys. The best opponent he's fought so far, Kell Brook, and Kell Brook was winning the fight. Now, again, that doesn't mean shit if you get stopped, which is what Errol Spence did. But I'm not convinced that he walks through Terence Crawford. And I'm not convinced he walks through Sean Porter. Danny Garcia, on the other hand, I think that's an excellent matchup for Spence. I think he walks through Garcia. Early on, it might be competitive, but I think just down the line, it just becomes hell for Danny Garcia. He has stamina issues, even at welterweight. But Sean Porter, tough guy, can take a punch. He's a Tasmanian devil. He just gets on the inside and mauls you, makes things incredibly difficult. And if he stays on the outside, guess what? He's actually got pretty good body movement, head movement as well, I should say. And he's a tough guy. Precise says Stride is very good. Austin is past it. Original Bruton says we need to see Crawford at 147 first. Hence next week when he takes on, what's his name, Jeff Horn. Ooh, that's gonna be an interesting fight. I'm looking forward to that one. By the way, for the Patreon subscribers, we are going to be uploading tonight a special Jeff Horn versus Terence Crawford film analysis. That's for the Patreon subscribers who are at the Patriot level. They're going to be able to watch that one. FNC Boss, shout out to FNC, says the Brook win for Triple G might start looking better and better if Brook does well at 154. Yeah, and the fucking what's his name? Big bully, white bully guy. Jared Hurd says he prefers to fight Brook instead of. Oh no, sorry. He said he would prefer if it's better in Brook's interest that he fights Khan, who is more in his weight class, than himself, because Jared Hurd said it himself. He's a big ass 154 pounder. So that's coming from straight from his mouth. He's admitting he's a big ass junior middleweight. All right. Anybody that wants to pretend that he's not enjoying a weight advantage over there, and I know the excuse, well, if he can make the weight, then everything's okay. Well, you know what? If you punch somebody in the balls and the referee misses it, does that make it okay? Absolutely not. You still hit somebody in the balls and you won't be kissed.
He's allowed to stay at 154 if he can make the weight. But let's not get all fucking hype him up and be all impressed like, wow, look at this guy. He's unstoppable. I mean,
that's right.
Yeah, maybe at 154 and against that type of a position. But he goes to 160 and it's going to be a different story.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, I see we got Precise in the chat room. I mean, in the hangout.
Depending upon how you interpret the data.
What's up with all the transvestites in Hollywood, though?
Because if you're a postmodernist and you don't have any standards, you're always going to keep moving the goalpost and you're never going to stick to your own standards because you don't have any standards.
That's right. The legendary Precise Puncher in the house. Precise, are you there?
Yes. I'm not legendary, but thanks.
Come on, man. You started making videos again after a bit of a hiatus, and everybody's back on the train, watching your videos, telling you you're on fire. And you are on fire this past couple of weeks. And I wanted to talk to you about that video that you made about Berchelt, because he's taken on an Argentinian veteran, which, okay, you know, it's not that the worst match, but when you consider that he fought Francisco Vargas and Miura back to back, and now this is his second straight opponent that's his favorite to beat on paper. What's going on with this guy? I mean, is he buying time or what's going on?
You know, it's a little bit disappointing, to be fair, but if that's what he wants to do, then it's kind of a little bit like the what Butcher was saying about Jared Hurd. It's like, you know, I'm not gonna get all excited about the guy, but I'm not gonna criticize him either. My video was really just a response to all that unwarranted hype with somebody who really fought a couple of tailor-made, battle-worn, maybe drug-free opponents and got him at the right time, looked good, did his thing, you know, but is in no way, shape, or form the kind of threat that people said he was to someone like Vasily Lomachenko. So I really just wanted to dead the hype down a little bit. And if you want to say criticize him a little bit, that's fine. But, you know, for me, I don't have a problem with fighters going their own way, if that makes any sense, or doing their own thing, you know what I mean? Basically not wanting to compete against the very best, but at the same time, you know, quit acting like they're doing something. That's kind of how I feel about it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, in my mind, if a guy wants to do that, yeah, okay, fine. But if he starts talking shit like Adonis Stevenson, who says he's the best, and then he spends 3.5 years fighting a bunch of guys that he's favored to beat on paper and all that, then it becomes a little annoying. And I'm not as lenient when it comes to my voicing my criticism. But with a guy like Berchelt, look,
No, absolutely, I agree. You know, but Berchelt he's a good boy. He's been quiet. He's been doing this thing, milking that little title he got it is what it is. Maybe his promoter doesn't have much confidence in him, and maybe they want to build him up a little bit more. Maybe he's avoiding certain fights. I'm not sure. I would venture a guess he's struggling to make 130, and 135 is, you know, he's food at that weight. So maybe he's doing the best he can for himself and maximizing his earning potential. And he's just another one of those quote unquote champions, and that's all he's ever going to be. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell exactly what's going on with him. You would expect him at 135 if he's having trouble making 130 and he can be strong at 135, he could walk through some people, but we'd have to watch him at 135 first, because I mean he really came out of nowhere if you think about it. He was fighting in Mexico. I mean there were some televised fights of his in Mexico, but it was really hard to tell how good he was. Then he stepped up and fought Vargas and Miura, and you can tell like he can slug it out or he can box from the outside. But at 135, I mean, I don't know if he's too...
He could box from the outside against these... And I'm not saying that he's so much bigger than the guys he fought necessarily, but he does okay because he has these certain physical advantages. But, you know, I think Nick Walters, maybe not now, because maybe he's psychologically not the same fighter, but I would say someone like Nick Walters would have beaten him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe.
Or he's on that level, basically. He's right there as Nick Walters. Nothing special. Big, strong dude. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think so, because it's kind of hard. First of all, I don't fault him for boxing against Miura, even though I expected a slugfest. I was kind of disappointed. But it was a smart thing to do, to box Miura. On the other hand, when he fought Francisco Vargas, he did look bigger than Vargas. And Vargas was coming off 2 wars against Miura and against Salido. So again, with
no clenbuterol.
Yeah, I mean, so it's hard to tell where exactly Burchell fits into the picture. But in terms of him calling out this fighter, that fighter, did he call out Lomachenko, or did he stay quiet when it came to that particular fighter?
No, I think it was haters, if you want to say that, of Lomachenko that were saying that, you know, that was their great whatever hope, you know what I mean, to topple the Great White Hope, basically. So they were hyping him up like he was the next big thing or something, only because I think, in my opinion, because that fight wasn't very realistic, seeing as Lomachenko had either Rigondeaux or the Salido on his plate at that time, and then eventually moving up in weight. You know, I think people realized the fight wasn't going to happen, so it was safe to talk shit, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, how do you feel about fighters talking shit? Are there specific fighters that get to you and some don't, or is it just, it all comes down to how much talking they do or what type of trash talking they do?
I'm kind of like you. You know, I could tolerate a good amount of shit talking so long as you back it up. But if you're just shit talking for the sake of shit talking, I get real tired of it real quick, because as it's been pointed out before, I'm fucking 40 years old, and, you know, it's time to grow up.
Well, listen, I was watching, I think I've talked about this before in MMA, that all these guys, there's a video out there called cringe compilation of fighters trying to imitate McGregor's trash talk, something like along those lines, not as long as what I just said, but, and you see some guys trying to, they even repeat his lines verbatim, and it's cringe-worthy, man. And, you know, if you don't have the trash talking spirit inside of you, just don't fucking do it. And if you're good at it...
I find McGregor cringe-worthy, to be honest. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, some of the things he's, like, prior to the Aldo fight, where at some point he told Aldo, like, oh, I can smell your pussy. And I'm thinking, come on, man, that's the best you've got. I can smell your pussy. That was... Yeah,
his highlights are good, but, you know, sitting there listening to the Floyd Mayweather press conference, I was just, this is for fucking 12-year-olds, man. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. I couldn't sit through it. It was just, you're a bitch. And I mean, it was fun to see him clown, who was it, Espinosa or something. That was, you know, it's funny for a minute, but overall, it's just like, I'm more really interested in boxing than all this other extra fucking fluff. You know what I mean?
Man,
and if I'm getting all this fluff and no substance, then it just gets old.
Yeah, man, the people that eat that shit up, I mean, look, there's something out there for everybody, but when I see some grown people looking at that and losing their shit, I go, all right. Yeah, it's like, I'll give you an example. When that whole thing went down with McGregor attacking people or trying to attack shit. I can't say his name. The guy Khabib. Well, let's call him Khabib. In the bus, and there were fighters inside the buses, and they were filming what was happening. And I actually heard a couple of fighters in one of the videos saying, like they're laughing, like they're excited, and they're going, "Oh, he's a G, he's a G." And I'm thinking, fuck, like that's what they respect. That a guy loses his shit, starts chimping out, and starts throwing barrels and trash cans and tripods or whatever it was at a bus full of people. I mean, that's, like I said, there's something out there for everybody, but it's not for me anymore.
I'm not impressed. Yeah, I'm not impressed, man.
I'm more impressed by somebody that keeps his cool or laughs it off. You know, the trash talking.
Yeah, and look, I don't have any kids necessarily, or that I know of, but you know, I do, as I get older, I do consider, you know, who these guys are, and seeing as, like it or not, they are role models. You know, it just adds to the overall atmosphere of degeneracy in our society. And, you know, maybe if the fucking fags weren't out in the streets with their dicks in their hand, you know, maybe I could handle someone like McGregor. But it all just adds up. It gets to a point where, you know, come on, enough, people, behave. You know what I mean? Kids are watching.
Let me ask you, man, what you just said about him behaving. Do you think, like, I know it's a hard question to answer, but if you had to bet, do you think he's on drugs or something? I'm talking cocaine or something like that.
Oh, absolutely, man. That the people in the British Isles, seeing as they don't get any not much sunlight anyway, they find other ways of getting that equatorial sunshine and happiness into their bodies. You know what I mean? And cocaine is one hell of a drug.
Well, listen, I completely relate with that. When I'm here in Canada, we finally got the sun now. And I've been walking regularly now, in this, getting some vitamin D, and man, I feel energy. I don't know if it's a placebo effect or something, but I do feel like somebody's injected a bunch of fucking juice inside of me, and I'm ready to go, man. That's it's. I don't think. I mean, I take vitamin
D, man. It's the sun it's a powerful thing.
Yeah, so no cocaine for me anymore. And it's interesting that with fucking McGregor, man, he like Butch was saying in the chat room, UFC posted the attack on their social media platform, so they knew they probably I wouldn't put it past them to have known that he was going to do that, and they allowed him to do it.
Yeah, it seemed a little bit staged, you know, that sort of thing. You get, especially in New York, I would think that's where it happened, right? You get into some serious trouble doing shit like that. I mean, you'll have the bus company, the building owners, UFC. You should have everybody suing you. You know, if you were just some regular guy, you'd be going down for quite some time, if not, maybe not serious jail time, but some fines and all that other stuff. And the way it kind of died down, at least from, you know, what I can gather, it just kind of seems like, it really does seem like a publicity stunt. And for the UFC to milk that shit, from what I hear, you know, maybe it wasn't exactly planned to go down this way, but it just, I don't know, it's cheap promotion in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. Because it does, you know, it wasn't that long ago when it started to become really mainstream, and they were trying their hardest to make it seem like a legitimate sport. They would say that throughout the telecast, like, this is a sport, that the commenters would say that. And now that they're established, but man, let me tell you something. There's still people out there that believe boxing, it's full of, like, if you go to a gym, you're gonna see a gangster there with a pinstripe suit and everything. That stereotype hasn't gone away in some people's eyes. And with MMA, which is newer than boxing, it's even worse, because people do think, like, and let's face it, a lot of these MMA guys, they do look stereotypically the same. Most of them, you know, they're white guys with tattoos. And, you know, some of them have mohawks or different colors of hair. And it does, I can understand why, to the average person who never watches any combat sports, they look at that and they think, oh, these guys are a bunch of lunatics, a bunch of loose cannons, and I don't think it's my type of thing, you know? For the most part, most people enjoy watching hecticness or chaos from afar. They're not as comfortable paying to go somewhere where there's those type of dudes around in the crowd and all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're living vicariously through these cartoon fucking characters.
But anyway, listen, getting back to... Oh, and by the way, I was listening rather to the Joe Rogan podcast the other day, an old episode they had with Dorian Yates, who was a bodybuilder. And he
Yeah.
said that he said back in the day, like way like steroids isn't a new thing. It's like it goes way back. We're talking track and field in the 50s and all that. And I remember those discussions we've had about PEDs and how people sniffing things, barbiturates and all, well, not barbiturates, but did people? What did you say they used to sniff back in the 60s, 50s, and even way beyond then?
Oh, yeah, crushed up asthma pills, basically amphetamine, or also different forms of amphetamine, speed, basically. Inhalers,
Hmm. Well, that's what the guy said.
Benzedrine, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, this guy, this bodybuilder was saying that like way back in the day, like the sports, it's never been really clean as I had thought. I'd really had thought that 70s and prior to that, it was just guys eating steak and potatoes, training, and that's it. Like no.
No, bro. Like 1940s is probably when the synthetic testosterone hit Gold's Gym, which isn't to say everybody was on it, but, having been officially invented in 1935, 5 years is more than enough to start experiments on bodybuilders on the West Coast. You know what I mean?
Jesus. By the way, we got recognized in the hangout.
Don't get fooled when they tell you that the crime rate is down in New York. Every time I watch the local news, they're always talking about, well, there was a stabbing here, there was a stabbing there, there was a shooting there, but the crime is down.
I don't know how many times I gotta say it. Don't trust everything you hear. Do your own research. Don't even trust what I'm saying or what we're all saying here. Do your own research. Recognize, are you there?
That is right.
That's
going
right,
on, peoples?
What's up?
I wonder sometimes. By the way,
Me too.
it's interesting that last episode we were talking about what's it called? Hall of Fame fighters and all that, and we were talking about Wilfredo Gomez and all that. And I wanted to bring up Wilfred Benitez. Well, lo and behold, somebody in the chat room, I forget who it was, I can't see anymore, but somebody just informed us that Benitez was hospitalized and he's been sent to Chicago in order to receive medical treatment. But the story with Benitez was that he was already fucked up in the head a long time ago, right? After his career was over. Like he had some head trauma.
He was mentally ill, supposedly, a little retarded.
I don't know how true this is, but the WBC was still, I don't know if he was the only fighter, but they were like, they gave him like a pension or something like that. Yeah, because he was, I don't know if it had anything to do with his age. He won a title at 17, and apparently it was the WBC. I heard something about that, but I know that he was like living in Puerto Rico, not too far from where my grandfather used to live in Coupe. It's called, you've heard of Coupe Alto, right? That's where like Trinidad's from.
Yeah, Coupe Alto, yeah.
So in Coupe Alto, he was living like in more like in the bottom part, which is the bottom of the mountain. And so he wasn't doing good if he was living like in that part. He had like a little house there. It was sort of like run down. So he wasn't doing good at all.
Jeez. Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I had heard rumors from this one Puerto Rican cat once told me that it was believed that even in his prime, he wasn't all there upstairs. Like he was a little mentally retarded. It's just a rumor, man. I don't know. I'm just
He could have been. He could have been because there was a Sugar Ray Leonard, actually. Go look at the Sugar Ray Leonard fight. When he gets stopped, I don't think he realized what happened. He's trying to hug Sugar Ray Leonard and like, yeah, no, like I'm not even trying to be funny. He's like actually trying to hug him. You just had a pretty good fight with him where you were doing really good. Yeah, you got stopped in the last round. Why are you trying to hug him? They stopped the fight in his favor. I almost thought that he got confused what the hell was going on, and maybe it's nothing but to Precise's point that maybe he was just a little slow always.
Well, you know
maybe
what
he got hit in the head too much as a kid even. I don't know.
That's a possibility. That's because
started boxing at the age of 15, pro.
Well, yeah.
Because if you think about it, if he used to fight with his hands down, that means there was a learning process behind that. So if he started out boxing with his hands down as well, he probably had a shitload of shots before he finally learned how to hone his skills. the book out on Benitez was that he wouldn't train. His father was his trainer, and he was very lax with his son. And essentially, Benitez trained whenever he felt like it, which wasn't most of the time. It wasn't, he wasn't consistent with it. And they say he didn't even train for the Leonard. I mean, not that he didn't train, but he didn't train properly for the Leonard fight. Could be excuses, I don't know. But he loved the high life, apparently. So, yeah. By the way, we got Pavel on the line. Pavel, are you there?
Holla at y'all.
All right. Pavel in the house.
That's right.
That's my brother.
What's he always saying? That's right. That's right. But yeah, we're just talking about Wilfred Benitez. And here's the other thing I wanted to mention about Benitez was that if indeed he was a little bit slow, that would perhaps explain why he had great reflexes. Because God gives, God takes. Sometimes some guys they're lacking something in their brain, but their body makes up for it in other ways or something. So maybe his lack of wherewithal or whatever it was actually, the speed and the reflexes compensated for that genetically or biologically. I don't know. I'm just throwing bullshit.
I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I met a lot of Puerto Ricans like that. They kind of slow and they fucking either hella strong or real athletic, but they're slow-minded. But they'll fucking they make up for it in athletic ability for whatever reason.
Could be.
I'm not saying it's a Puerto Rican thing.
I hope so. Because
I met quite a few other people that, especially here in America. So, but it's, it was something that in Puerto Rico growing up, I noticed these guys are like slow-minded. They even look slow-minded, and they just fucking strong as hell.
That's interesting. It's very interesting that there might be something there to that the body making up for the lack of brain power. I don't know. So it's a very loose theory. I got no proof at all for that. But
I've seen, sorry, BDA. I've seen a recent interview. I mean, not so recent, like from 2 years ago with Wilfred Benitez, and he spoke exactly just like Errol Spence right now speaks. So yeah, it must be something.
Yeah, Errol Spence. I don't know. You guys think he's slow? I just think he's basic when he talks. Like, he might show slow reflexes in the ring. I don't know if he's slow outside of it. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's
he might just be kind of a dunce a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think it's the fact that he looks like he's permanently high. So maybe he's just always, the weed has relaxed him to a point where he just says enough words to just get by. He's not interested in being very talkative. You know what I mean? Then maybe that's it. Dan says Errol sounds nasally. Again, maybe that's, I don't know. Look, listen, there's all sorts of people out there. Just because you don't talk a lot.
Easily.
Yeah. Yeah, just because you don't talk a lot doesn't mean you're slow. I mean, some people just don't have anything to say, Then there's other people that just won't shut up, and then there's some people that are down the line.
I've been accused of that. Won't shut up. That is.
I've been accused of it plenty of times. I've accused myself of that. FNC Bot says Errol isn't slow, he's just laid back. Speaking of slow and laid back and talkative and all that, one guy that's not afraid of being talkative is Tyson Fury. And I don't know if you guys heard what happened this past week, but Vitaly Klitschko made some comments according to Boxing Scene, where he said Tyson Fury is the world champion of trash talking. I wish him all the best, but what he did was not good for boxing. That's my personal opinion. I think he's referring to the layoff. And then he says, right now, Anthony Joshua is a world champion. Very soon, Joshua will be a world star. And after that, a boxing legend. I believe a full, complete fighter is Anthony Joshua, said Vladimir. And then this is Vladimir now. He says he's been active, more active, and he's got this talent of being strong and mobile. He was warned, okay, blah, blah, blah. He took punish. He did not have it easy. I think that's what's made him a better fighter, and to trust his own skills. Of course, Fury came back and said, Vitaly, you say I'm the trash talking champion. Yes, I am. And it worked against your brother. Vladimir keeps talking Anthony Joshua up because he gave him 50-50. Talk me up. You couldn't land a blow on me. Man up. Tell the truth. Stop being a sore loser. Who would you?
I like Tyson Fury, man. I was watching his training regimen. There's this channel that I follow, a guy it goes by the name of Boxing Physique, and he was showing a training regimen of Tyson Fury. He works out like a beast, man.
Yeah, you can't fucking do what he does if you're not in shape. You know what I mean? Yeah, unless you're tight, or unless maybe you're James Toney, and even then, James Toney got a lot of sparring done, so he was technically in good enough shape. But yeah, I mean, the Klitschko's, I'm telling you, I've seen them. They look fake to me when, like, especially Vladimir, when he talks, like when he was having that face off against not face off, that thing that they do on TV where they like the
Gloves
HBO.
are off.
Yeah, the gloves are off. Thank you. And Vladimir was like,
thing.
what was that?
I think it's in the UK, no?
Yeah, in England, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, Vladimir's trying to get inside Fury's head, and he's like saying, well, you know, I wasn't prepared, blah blah blah, and you can tell he's like, Tyson Fury would come back at him, and Vladimir Klitschko would smile, but it's that type of smirk, but where you can tell that the muscles are really he's straining his facial muscles. You know what I mean? Which means
Looks like
he's
he was
not
taking his shit.
I think that's a good way of putting it. Yeah,
Come
but
on.
in other words, he's not
Like,
relaxed.
down.
In other words, he's not relaxed, but he's trying to. He's trying. In other words, it means that he's the one that's got a chip on his shoulder, as he should have, because he lost and he fought really timid the first fight. Now, my question to you guys is this: who would you rather have been? Yeah, Joshua, who gets dropped but ends up getting the stoppage, or Tyson Fury, who doesn't put on an entertaining performance but barely got hit in a fight against Klitschko? You guys tell me.
Do you get to choose your skin color no matter which way you go?
The fuck is that?
I'm just kidding.
The fuck is that supposed to be? Let me tell you something precise.
You know, there's strings attached here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a serious question.
It's a package deal, man.
Completely, you know, relevant societal repercussions. You know what I mean? You're asking a serious question, bro.
I asked a simple question. It's not a package deal, man. Come on.
You know, I would have loved to see the contract that Vladimir and AJ had signed, because it looks like it came with a lot of strings attached. But anyway, I would have, of course, I would have preferred to be Tyson Fury because he did it first. And, you know, that's really why, because he did it first. And even though it wasn't as exciting, he barely got touched. So he did it in relatively better fashion, if not in as an exciting fashion, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point.
And I'd like to be black at the same time.
I like to be in between.
You're a bunch of
not to get touched and at the same time, you know, win by knockout.
You're a bunch of race baiters is what you are, all of you. You're trying to, you know, people think that some of you, well, mostly we're talking about Precise, where people think Precise is a racist and he's just playing it up, giving them what they want, doesn't give a shit. Pavel, what about you, man? I mean, who would you rather have been? The Tyson Fury performance against Klitschko, or would you rather have had the Anthony Joshua performance against Klitschko?
Kill Whitey!
Shit.
Okay, I'm going to shut up now.
Basically, oh my god. In general, not even considering the contracts, the performances of their respective fights, I'd prefer to be the Kang of boxing, Anthony Joshua, to be honest.
There you go.
I mean, oh yeah. Look. In the eyes of casuals, it's more spectacular performance, definitely, you know, being knocked down and got up like a brave warrior and not stopping fucking Klitschko, right? The great warrior Klitschko, who wasn't considered as the great before he fought Joshua. Well then, yeah, I'd prefer to be Joshua and fighting all the time in UK and being protected. Yeah, fuck that, easy money right there.
All right, you know what? I think you're being sarcastic. I'm not sure, but my spider sense.
I sound sarcastic, but I'm not. I'd really rather prefer to be Anthony Joshua. For example, I'm under such a protection if I'm Joshua that even if I say that there is some sort of a superior race, Eddie Hearn is gonna sweep that under the rug under 1 hour. You know.
That's right.
So so nothing can touch me.
Well, there you
Tyson's
go.
going to have the last laugh here. You'll see.
Well, it depends if
I hope so.
He's fighting next week. People are already giving him shit for not fighting. I mean, I don't understand it. These people want him to come back against Joseph Parker, they want him to come back against Dillon White. I don't get it. But he's fighting a guy that obviously he's just gonna work the rust off of him. Tyson Fury is not the type of guy that's gonna look impressive when it comes to offense. But good luck trying to land a clean blow on the guy. And don't bring up the Steve Cunningham fight, because that was a long time ago, and it was one punch, and he ended up walking the guy down. So with Tyson Fury, let me tell you something. He's 6'9", right? He's slippery in there.
He can move, man.
He can move. I don't know if Joshua... Listen, after what I saw Joshua against Parker...
I think he beats both of them, man. I think he beats Joshua and Wilder with no problem. I think he beats them now, the way he looked in the gym.
I'm struggling with that one. I'm struggling with Wilder just based on the fact that... I don't know, man. That fucking Wilder, he ends up getting that right hand through.
If he don't get that right hand through...
He's screwed, yeah.
He's going to get... He's going to get washed up.
Fury can stop fucking Wilder, man. I'm telling you, man. If
yeah,
he's
and
back,
he can stop him, too.
He can stop him.
I
Absolutely.
agree with you, yeah.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, I would give him a bigger chance of knocking out Wilder than Fury. But even Fury, I mean, Fury went 12 rounds against Parker because he essentially was dictating a bit of the fight there, and Parker couldn't really put anything offensively together, which again goes with credit to Joshua because he's got decent defense himself. But Tyson Fury, man, longer than Parker. In other words, Fury is a better version of Parker and bigger as well. So you try to deal with that. It ain't easy. You know what I mean? By the way, we got Stu on the line.
I wasn't bad. I told you what's going to happen to Price. I told you he's going to be sleeping. I told you the ambulance is going to come. The oxygen mask is going to come out. I told you he's going to miss the main event. I told you all them things were going to happen.
What's happening, fellas? There's only one Stu Little. There he is.
Hello.
There's two Stews.
Yeah, there's two. There's only one. No, there's two now. Anyway, one of them is going.
Amazing.
There's only room in this world for one Stu.
That's right. That's right. All right.
Hang on a sec. Can you just get back to me in a minute? I've got to knock at the door.
All right. I hope it's not Michael Stott knocking on his door. But, man, that guy, he's starting to... I'm sorry to bring it up, but listen, I have nothing against Mike, anything overtly huge, just that he kind of annoyed me a little bit when he wouldn't shut up in the chat room and all that. But now he's leaving messages on the YouTube. He's leaving messages. They're talking about teams, and there's no teams, man. We're just a podcast.
Well, according to him and Precise are blood brothers.
They're part of the same team.
He said something about
he's one of the founders of the YTBC, by the way.
Michael and Precise are gonna take over the YTBC, according to him. I mean,
hey, Stu, leave me out of it. Mike has always been cool with me, and I gotta give him major props for showing me Ryan Dawson. But that being said,
Ryan Dawson. Yeah.
I don't agree with everything he has to say. Nor am I getting involved in his beefs.
Yeah. Listen, to be fair, Brian. To be fair, he's the one that constantly brings you up. So I just thought I'd let you know. But I mean, this Ryan Dawson. I mean, apparently he left a comment saying about British people speak with it. I mean, what did that comment have anything to do with the hangout that we did?
He's still angry, man. He's still angry.
He's a very angry guy. But like I said, I think it's best if we just ignore this fella,
right?
Because I think that hurts him more than actually arguing back with him.
Exactly. But listen, I will say one last thing about him is I had nothing against the guy. I will admit that he pissed me off a little bit when he was just making fun of everybody in the chat room all the time, nonstop. He was acting very obnoxious, like a know-it-all. But listen, I got nothing against the guy. I don't want to fight with the guy. I don't want to get into an internet beef with the guy. But I also just don't want to have that type of energy around this show. So, I mean, if he wants to go in the chat room and all that, that's fine. But I think at this point, I'm choosing not to have it. And Bucho, I don't know what you think about that, but that's the decision that I think would be best for the show. All right, Bucho, are you there, Bucho?
Well, I'll answer that for him. Totally agree.
Well, I know how you feel about it, but
I
again,
find the fucking mute button. All right. Yeah, I agree with you.
I got nothing. I mean, I do have something against the guy in the sense that I don't want him on the show.
Listen, after you post a video, 5 minutes later, there's gonna be 6 comments from fucking Michael's son.
Listen, yeah, people like Reality Voice in the chat room says, no, keep him out chat. He was poisoned last time. If he wants to come in the chat, why? I mean, listen, I shouldn't have gotten pissed off. I shouldn't have been pissed off by his comments, but it was just, it was nonstop.
We haven't blocked low plays yet, so I mean.
Was that?
We haven't even blocked low plays.
Exactly, yeah, we haven't blocked low plays. I think you have to do something. You have to be really annoying and spamming nonstop for us to kick you off the chat. But anyway, listen. Back to the goddamn boxing. Now that we got a Brit in the house, I wanted to ask something because last week, Recognize made a very good question. He said, should Timothy Bradley be in the Hall of Fame? With everything, with the standards and all that. And now I gotta ask you, do you think with the standards of today's International Boxing Hall of Fame, does Amir Khan make it into the Hall of Fame?
Fuck no.
That's a very good fucking question, because the standards have totally dropped. But to be fair, we don't know who are these fighters that are fighting today are going to be in the Hall of Fame in future years to come. You just don't know, do you? It's guesswork. But the likelihood is he's going to get in there, isn't he?
Yeah, but okay, let's switch up.
I just think with his Asian fan base, it's just it's one of them ones where he did win a couple of world titles. Let's be fair, and he has fought the best. You got
diversity, Stu. Don't forget diversity. You gotta have.
Well, this is the point I was trying to make without trying to make it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'll be the bad guy.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I mean, we do need an Asian Muslim in the Hall of Fame now. We need a bit of diversity. You know what I mean? Fuck's sake. When does it stop? Transgender next.
Speaking of next, everybody fell off already. 42 minutes into the show and everybody fell off again. Jeez. Stu, you're still there, right?
The way the Hall of Fame's going, Orlando Cruz is going to get in there just for being gay.
No, Stu. That's for being brave. Okay.
That's right.
He's breaking barriers.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He's a strong man.
Well, he's very brave. I mean, just like Caitlyn Jenner, very, very brave person. I mean, it takes. It does. It takes a big heart and a lot of courage to fucking.
Balls. Lots of balls.
Yeah. Lots of balls get a breast implant and fucking wear high heels.
I'm proud of him. I'm very proud, man. Very proud.
Oh God!
You people are disgusting with your bigoted. You're a bunch of bigots. Anyway, listen. Amir Khan. What's his biggest? Speaking of Khan, what's Khan's biggest win? Not talking his best performance, but the biggest name.
Marcus Maidana by a country mile. Marcus Maidana by a country mile.
Marcus Maidana,
He doesn't have any other good wins, really. I mean, lost to Peterson. I think he won that. Got robbed, obviously, to a drug cheat. So I do feel sorry for him there. But on the record, it says he got beat. Sparked into next week by Canelo. Danny Garcia fucking made him do the Bollywood dance. I mean, where are these victories coming? What good win has he got? I'm trying to. I mean, are we going to Paul McCloskey? Are we going to use that one? I don't know, man.
Marco Antonio Barrera.
Oh yeah, 45-year-old
Everybody forgot him.
Yeah,
he did beat him. He avenged the Muslim Brotherhood in that one.
He didn't even beat him. He just stopped by a cut, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, it was a cut. Yeah.
Barrera was coming on.
Well, look, listen.
I think we have to give a shout out to Amir Khan, because I think it's going to be his first training camp that is going to be on Ramadan. So
that's fucking hard. Hey, that's what I was.
Well, that's going to be great, isn't it? For a guy that ain't got no fucking chin, starving himself. Yeah, that's really going to work. Isn't it?
That's it. No, well, actually, they don't starve themselves. They can eat after sundown and before sunset, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, but it's summer, so the days are longer. So it's that, man.
He's gonna have
summer.
Then he should move to somewhere that's where it's not summer right now.
He should go to the Hall of Fame for that knockout that he received by Canelo. I say get him there.
Oh, come on, jeez.
The fact that he survived that and he's still alive, I say put him in the Hall of Fame.
All right, you motherfuckers! I asked the serious.
I mean, he survived it, but He's never been the same man since. I mean, he's lost the plot. He accused fucking. Well, he accused Joshua of fucking slipping his wife a length. I mean, he's come out with some strange things. He goes in the jungle and makes the right tool of himself. Screams and that like when he sees a spider. This guy's in the jungle and he's got fucking 5'4" females protecting him from spiders and snakes. I mean, unbelievable.
Well, I think maybe it has something to do where in Islam, spiders represent the devil or something. Is that possible?
Oh, please.
I don't know. I'm just asking, man. Maybe.
Bloody hell, everyone's a shaitan to them, ain't they? Fuck's sake.
All right, listen.
Shaitan means the devil, doesn't it? Or demon, whatever. So, yeah, I mean.
Every time I think of Khan, I just think of that knockout by Canelo. And he had this face like, I hate to bring it up, but you ever seen somebody like when they get shot in the face? I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I have. they do this twisted face look, and he had that. That's the face that he had. I thought he was. I swear, I thought.
I actually reckon Amir Khan did a Patrick Swayze in Ghost, where he actually came out of his body. He did for a few seconds, didn't he? He did a Patrick Swayze, and then he came back round again. Do you know what I mean? But
in the chat room, Double A says Amir Khan can't even put on aftershave, and the last time he did, he ended up with an 8 count. Fight fan. No. Dan
Listen,
says
this guy has to retire immediately because the knockouts he saw are pretty bad. You know, they're devastating knockouts. So
watch him come back and school Spence. That would be hilarious.
I mean, Khan got KO'd by Wilkinson's sword. Do you know what I mean?
Wilkinson's sword. I don't get that one. Listen,
Wilkinson's sword is a razor.
Oh, okay.
Fucking hell. Do you guys fucking ever get out?
I don't shave.
Me neither.
Is it always that cold that you just stay in your house and don't get out anywhere in Quebec or something?
I was out a couple of hours ago. I was taking a little bit of sun, so don't tell me I'm a recluse. I'm not that reclusive. I am a recluse, but not that much, especially not during the summer. Listen, the point is, Dan in the chat room says Maidana is overrated. Do you agree with that? I mean, because we're talking about Amir Khan's best win. Did Maidana's stock really go up based off of the fact that he did better than most people expected against Mayweather, or was he as dangerous as we make him out to be?
Maidana was a very good fighter. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do people mean by overrated? Like, what is his rating? No one's saying he's the greatest ever, but he was a very good fighter, man.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Maybe not that, but you know. No, I don't think
Amir
so.
Khan, if you got Amir Khan close to it, you got to have Maidana, right? I mean, Maidana.
I'll tell you what, let's be real.
Maidana did get better.
Khan dropped Maidana as well heavily, nearly stopped him in the first round. So that was a very good win for Khan. I think that was Amir Khan at his best, but even at his best, he was hanging on for dear life in the 12th round, weren't he? 12th round. I mean, it was seconds away from being stopped, even at his best. So,
well, look,
Kotelnik beat Maidana technically, even though you could argue the other way, and Khan beat Kotelnik. So if we're on the fence about Khan, I don't think Maidana's getting in.
Right. Yeah, that's the big, again, Maidana fell short against Mayweather. He didn't get the decisions. He fell short. I mean, Devin Alexander, he should have definitely gotten the win with that one, but you got to go with official results. He also lost to Zab Judah officially, so I don't know. He beat who? Morales? Broner?
Come on.
Josecito Lopez? Who else?
You said Broner.
Mayweather.
He beat Mayweather. Yeah,
but we're talking officially. Like, you can't, like, it has to be.
Yeah, I know it's not official, but to me, he won.
Oh, I know, bro. I'm just playing. I know it's not official.
No, but what I'm saying is that because I would have given him. I would. What? Listen, I would.
I thought he won the first and Floyd won the second.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that one I could agree with that. And I would love to give him the Zab Judah and Devin Alexander fights, but again, I can't do. I mean, what I saw in the ring, both guys in the ring, I saw Maidana beating Judah and beating Devin Alexander, but they didn't give him the win. So we had to abide by the official decision. And by the way, we got people fell out. And I just noticed we got Cameron on the house as well. In the house, not on the...
Fuck, mate, it's life, man. You only live once. Make the most of life. Enjoy it. Because everybody's got their weird fetishes, man. And mine just happens to be eating fucking ass.
That's right. We got Cameron in the house. Cameron, are you there?
Yeah, appreciate you bringing me in after half an hour waiting. So yeah, I'm glad to be on.
Oh, come on. Don't be a fucking... It wasn't half an hour, and you know. You're playing around, I know, but every joke...
Around, man.
I know.
It was only about 10 minutes.
It wasn't even 10 minutes. Anyway, listen. We're talking about whether Khan should be in the Hall of Fame. With the standards of today's, definitely he's going to be in because he did have a lot of fans. But in terms of... Let's raise the bar a little bit. Let's say it was like the Baseball Hall of Fame where it's tougher to get in there. Would he make it in? Does he have the type of resume that he's still... Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, everybody fell off. But anyway, listen, let's look at Khan's resume, right? Kotelnik. Forget about Barrera. Kotelnik. Maidana. Devin Alexander. Luis Colasso. Algieri. Who else? Who else am I missing? His 5 top wins or recent wins. Malinaji, Zabjuda. That's 7 solid wins right there. I mean, that's consistency.
Carlos Molina.
Carlos Molina.
Julio Diaz.
Yeah, Julio Diaz. That's another solid win, even though he got dropped 2 times. But I mean, he came out.
Willie Lemond.
Nah. We're talking top 10.
What David Bailey?
Hey, the thing is though, he got dropped. He got dropped 2 times by Willie Lemond, I think. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And he dropped Khan twice. I'm sure he did. I mean,
I've said it before, and I'll say it again, man. Amir Khan has one of the best, most exciting KO highlight reels, man. Yeah, can't argue that one.
You motherfuckers.
I mean, listen, man. The fact that the boy's not dead, in my opinion, is just fucking put him in the Hall of Fame. There's no need to go.
He's paid his dues, man. He's given his blood, sweat, and tears to the sport. Let's push him real, man.
Yeah, let's be real. He's done a lot more than Arturo Gatti, and he's in there.
That's right. Yeah, that's true.
And Nassim Hamid.
And Nassim Hamid.
Khan's nowhere near.
Well, no, actually, no, yeah.
Nowhere near.
Wait a second. Arturo Gatti has some good wins, man.
But not Hall of Fame.
Shit, man.
He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Fuck it.
Come on,
he's in it because he was exciting. He's an icon. That's why he's in it. You know.
Yeah, by the way,
I mean, Arturo.
Go ahead.
Arturo Gatti got smashed to pieces every time he fought top level fights. Let's be real. Everyone knows Arturo Gatti for his 3 fights with Mickey Ward. And Mickey Ward, very tough guy. I know Jimmy's not going to like this, but Mickey Ward, not a great fighter for me. Very tough, very rugged, but not elite level sort of thing. So you know what I mean? That's what Gatti's really known for, and getting smashed to pieces by Mayweather. Do you know what I mean? That's about it, really.
Mm-hmm. It's true. He had some solid wins, but it wasn't anything like. Come on, I mean, let's face it. Arturo Gatti, Zabjuda. Who would you have picked in that one?
Judah.
And look at what Khan did to him. I mean, Khan was on another. If Khan and Gatti would have gone head to head, Khan would have carved him up, man.
Talking about Amir Khan, you're talking about Madonna.
If he would have touched his chin, it would have been fucking lights out.
Oh, that's true.
You're talking about Madonna.
No, I'm talking about Gotti. Gotti touches Khan's chin. It's fucking lights out. That's it. It's over.
And by the way,
bring in the coroner.
Something in the chat room. That's his name. Something corrected me, and it's true. I was confusing Maidana with Matisse. Maidana never fought Zabjuda or he fought Devin Alexander, but he didn't fight Zabjuda. I was confusing Matisse. Yeah, Matisse should have a win over Judah and Alexander. Maidana legitimately lost to Alexander.
Yeah, Maidana, he got from what I remember, he got outboxed by Alexander. But
let's be honest, the last Maidana we fought, the last Marcus Maidana we saw in the ring would have destroyed Khan. If Khan fought prime Maidana, Khan wouldn't beat Maidana. Let's be honest about that.
Agree. I agree with Cameron.
There's no the Maidana who fought, the Maidana under Robert Garcia. He had a jab.
Would have slept him.
He was more patient. He had a bit more technical sort of ability behind him. So I think he would have destroyed Khan, to be honest.
He would have caught him. He would have caught him with something really good at some point in that fight. I mean, he caught Floyd with a knockout blow. It's Floyd's underrated chin that really saved him in that instance. But he was fucking almost out of there.
By the way, we have a new addition to the Hangout. We got Lighthearted joining us. Lighthearted, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
Good to have you.
Yeah, nothing's going on. I don't know why my name is Lighthearted. I am Adil for real in the chat.
Oh, hey, what's up, bro?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
You're gonna need to be lighthearted coming on this panel. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, first of all, you're gonna have to accept the fact that I've got it into my head now that you're Lighthearted and not the other name that you mentioned. I don't even remember what name. I don't even want to know what other name you go by in the chat room. But for all intents and purposes, you are Lighthearted in this show, right?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I like it. Yeah.
All right, good to have you.
I'm
Where are you
from
from?
Kazakhstan.
Oh.
Yeah, representing Triple G.
Nice.
How big is Triple G? Like, is he on TV and stuff, or commercials, or?
He's an icon here in Kazakhstan. He's got sponsorship deals with Samsung, and he's a legend already here.
As well, he should. I mean, that guy's done.
Did they build a stadium or an arena in Triple G's names?
Not a stadium. They got a boxing school in Karaganda in his hometown.
Okay, that's what I heard. Yeah, I thought it was they built.
Kids go there to train.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, sure.
How exactly popular right now is Danyar Ilyusinov?
He's we have Triple G as the most popular one, followed by Serik Sapiev. It's former Olympian, and Ilyusinov. Kanat Islam is kind of popular, but he's not regarded that highly. He's mostly supported due to, nationalistic. You know this.
Yeah.
He's not that good. He's not that good.
He's not that good. But Ilyusinov is right there at the top.
Amir Khan's problem is he's not even the most famous Amir Khan in the world, is he?
Right, that's true.
There's another one, isn't there, that does Bollywood films. He's a lot bigger.
Yeah, when you Google Amir Khan, you got to put in boxer.
Yeah,
if you want to see his box.
It fucking sucks to be Amir Khan, man.
Yeah.
Look what you're famous for. You're famous for like the other opponent's highlight knockout of you, and then on top of that, your name is Amir Khan, and you're not even the most popular one.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst because the other day I was researching
I say put him in the Hall of Fame just because of that, man.
Okay, you keep putting Amir Khan in the Hall of Fame for all the wrong reasons, man. For getting knocked out, for not being dead.
It's about diversity. It's about diversity. Ain't that right?
Just put the other Amir Khan in the Hall of Fame.
Put the other Amir Khan in there just to fuck
the
with.
way I understand it, the other Amir Khan is on his way to the Hall of Fame, for sure. For his music, the music Hall of Fame shit, whatever.
No kidding. I didn't even know they had a music Hall of Fame. I know they have a rock and roll Hall of Fame, but
yeah, same thing.
Anyway, he's most popular boxing guy doing some dirty stuff as well.
Yeah, well, apparently, yeah.
Online.
Allegedly.
I didn't get that. What happened?
Basically, the papers have been. He's been put in the paper again recently. Only like some woman sold a story to. I think it was Sun, which is like the biggest corrupted paper in the UK. Basically saying that Amir Khan cheated on his wife with her recently, and it's literally was in the paper last week. So.
Wait a minute! Didn't she cheat on him with fucking Joshua?
Allegedly, that's what Amir Khan says. But nah, it's a lot of bullshit, man.
Listen, they should just come out and say, "Listen, look, we're in an open relationship. Anything goes," and that's it. It's their business.
Have you seen her though? She's not even attractive. Amir Khan's wife's not attractive at all, man.
She used to be, and then she did all that shit to her face.
Yeah, it's horrible now, man.
All that shit to her face.
Fucking fake, man.
Hey, listen.
She looks like one of those Japanese sex dolls.
She looks like
that's what's going on if you bring a Middle Eastern woman to the Western country.
You think that's a problem there?
Oh yeah, he's very liberal. Amir Khan with his wife. You know, he's like famous cock in my book.
She definitely didn't sleep with Anthony Joshua. Because have you seen the size of that girl? Anthony Joshua would snap her in half, man. There's no way she slept with him.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of letdowns and all that, our most favorite fighter, you know who he is. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., according to Boxing Scene, is set to return, or he wants to return, on August 11th, and he's targeting Sergio Mora over Vanis Martiriosian. There was that famous photo came out a couple of weeks ago where he weighed 220. Now apparently he's lost 30 pounds, which means he's at a trim 190. He wants to box. Yeah, I'm not kidding.
190.
I'll give him a good chance then.
He wants to come back at 168. Good luck with that. And again, he wants to take on Vanis Martiriosian or Sergio Mora. I think Sergio Mora would be a better option because don't let the Triple G Martiriosian fight fool you. Martiriosian, you've all seen, I hope you've all seen that sparring footage of them in 2011. I know it was 2011, but still, Martiriosian was schooling Chavez in there. And I think the same thing happens regardless of weight. I think the same thing happens in a fight. Why is Chavez Jr. getting all of these chances? I know he's the legend's son, but at some point, if people don't want to see him anymore, why does he keep getting this up? I don't think even Mexicans in Mexico, like, you know, in Mexican TV want to see him anymore. Or maybe I'm wrong.
Well,
That's the thing.
You look at the Canelo numbers when he fought Canelo. I mean, they did quite good numbers for that pay-per-view, didn't they? I mean, now I know that Canelo's a big draw. You know, Canelo draws a lot of pay-per-views and all that. But let's be honest, when he fought Chavez, Canelo fought Chavez, they did good pay-per-view numbers. So, I mean, people still want to watch Chavez. You know what I mean? But I guess it depends on the opponent.
You think so, man? You think Mexicans still want to see him?
Yeah,
Well, it's just
No, they don't. I just saw this video. He's in that show with Marcus on ESPN, and Chavez Jr. is there, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, I want to fight again. I think, you know, I'm ready for it. I'm gonna become a world champion." Like all this bullshit. I go read the comments on the video. Everybody's like in Spanish, giving him shit, telling him he has to leave the country. Like seriously, man, nobody likes him, man. Nobody likes him.
Some people still do.
What weight is he gonna be a world champion at?
He can't be a world champion. Come on.
Who's gonna watch his shit? I mean, it's not like, okay, let's say that Chavez Jr. he's not that good, but he puts on a good scrap. Okay, people will still watch it, but this guy doesn't even fight anymore. He just freezes and doesn't do shit, doesn't throw punches. Like, who's gonna watch him fight again? I don't think so, man. I think it's completely over.
Put him in there with put him in there with someone like Margarito or something like that.
I say Margarito.
I'll watch that fight.
With his broken eye, I think Margarito will still beat him.
I want to see Margarito James Kirkland. That's the fight I want to see.
Yo, Kirkland. If Kirkland shows up in shape, he murders this version of Margarito.
Basically, the James Kirkland who gets tortured. James Kirkland who gets tortured and sexually abused by Anna Wolf turns up in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? What's the deal with that? How many times did they like hook up and break up? It's like they're in a fucking relationship, and that's a nasty sight to even think about them two.
His only losses have been without Ann Wolf. He's technically undefeated with Ann Wolf. No kidding.
Yeah, but some of Ann Wolf's methods. I mean, I've seen the footage where they're sparring. First of all, the gym or whatever they spar at, it's a shed. It's a shed that's been converted into a sparring ring. And they're just going they're going all out. And I understand with sparring, you have to go at a certain pace because if you step in the ring there and you're not prepared for that type of pace, you're going to freeze. But I don't know, man. Fucking Kirkland. And besides, let's face it, Ann Wolf isn't the problem. She's not the solution either. It's the fact that Kirkland's a mental case. This guy's been in and out of the county and I don't know if he's ever been in the federal penitentiary or whatever, but...
Oh, yeah, he's been in prison.
But I mean, he's been in there a bunch of times, not just once. You know, he goes in there for gun possession, a gun charge with this and that. I mean, he's a mental case.
He's the perfect example of, that retard that just has crazy strength.
Why do you have to use the R word?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, come on,
mentally
seriously.
challenged.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, like,
Mentally challenged retard.
It's a family show. Come on.
Yes, it's a family show.
You know when James Kirkland was going through the ranks and HBO were hiring him and everything, and he was being made out to be this Mike Tyson of the 154-pound division and things like that, and he gets knocked out by who was it? Nishioka, wasn't it? Someone like that.
Ishida put him to sleep. Ishida just said
17% KO knockout percentage.
Ishida said, I don't care what your mental challenges are in life. I'm knocking you out.
James Kirkland made him look like Gennady Golovkin in that ring. That's how bad it was.
Dude, if you look at that fight, Ishida wasn't sold on nothing about it. He just walked through him and knocked him out. That was it. He's just like, get the fuck. It was like literally, get the fuck out of here. Boom. Take that.
It's like you never seen him fight or didn't give a shit.
Right, like he didn't care who the fuck he was. He's like, I'm putting you to sleep. Like he had something personally against him, and he just hit him with that nice boom, right down the middle. He couldn't block it, and that was it. It was over.
He's a weight bully, though. He moved up to heavyweight after that.
Yeah, She's definitely a fucking weight bully. Dude was fighting. You know, he's never been knocked out, with the exception of Golovkin. That's it. That's the only person that's ever knocked him out, and he's fought like in every weight class.
That shows you Golovkin's past. Golovkin's knocked out a heavyweight.
Yes, just wanted to point out Ishida was knocked out in sparring by Canelo before Triple G.
Yeah, but Canelo's been on the good juice for a while now, so it don't really count.
And he stacks his reps.
That was when Triple G and Canelo were together and were training together, and that's when Canelo knocked out Ishida in sparring.
That was another good.
Have you guys seen photos of Ishida at heavyweight?
Yeah.
I mean, if you think Holyfield fucking got big, go check out Ishida, man. He's like the Japanese Fabio all of a sudden.
But wait a minute,
I don't know where all those muscles came from, bro.
Wasn't he fat?
Good, highlight, Canelo versus Kirkland. Has anybody seen that video of Kirkland shadowboxing getting knocked out? Or basically taking punches off Canelo, but it's not actually Canelo in the ring. He's basically by air. That's hilarious, man. It's hilarious. Just getting knocked out by air. It's quite funny.
Listen.
Oh yeah. He swung at him, and it kind of looked like nothing touched him. Yeah. Fuck.
I have a question here. Who would have won? Because, you know, Cotto supposedly he wanted to take on Kirkland. Who would have won? The Kirkland who comes in shape and walks through Angulo after a war, and the one that walked through Glenn Tapia and all that? Or Canelo, the one that fought, let's say the one that fought, what's his name, Japanese guy, the warrior,
Nah, man, Canelo, you can put any version of Canelo in the ring with Kirkland, Canelo would have won.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sorry, I should have said.
You mean Cotto?
Cotto, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Cotto.
No, Cotto still would have beaten, man, because Kirkland's just walked through guys who are basic. You know, you've already spoke about it. You know, Glenn Tapia, he beat Angulo. You know, he beat up one-dimensional offensive fighters. You give him a bit of boxing ability, you get beat. I think any version of Cotto would have beat Kirkland, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he did enter Julio, I think that was his name. Colombian guy that everybody thought was going to be the next best thing. He won a couple of rounds with Kirkland, and it's true. He never fought anybody before Canelo. He never fought anybody who could really put it on him. And Cotto, again, very good counterpuncher, good movement, good hand speed. But the Cotto that fought Kamegai and then the one that fought Saddam Ali, you could tell that against Kamegai, again, it was a very basic opponent, and against Saddam Ali, he ended up fucking up his body gave up on him. So I'm wondering, I think he could have outboxed Kirkland, but the question is, could he have done it for 12 rounds?
He would have stopped Kirkland, bro.
Yeah,
Kirkland had no defense.
Cotto would have put him.
Kirkland can't go 12 rounds, man. Kirkland can't go down 12 rounds with a boxer like him.
He doesn't have the chin of Margarito, you know. He wouldn't have been able to take all those shots that Margarito took.
Hey, speaking of Margarito, how about him? Hall of Fame or not?
Yeah, for me he is. Yeah.
Really?
I don't think so.
All right, so Cameron doesn't think so.
He did have, what was it, 9-11 title defenses. Nobody wanted to fight him for a while. It's one of those, like, what could have been
Yeah.
stories.
First guy to beat.
If you got that Mayweather fight. Yeah.
Well, look,
Martinez, too, he knocked him out. I mean,
True,
I think he gets in. I think he does get in, actually.
I forgot about that one, actually, that win.
Yeah. It's a big win in retrospect.
I mean, if we're gonna put Khan in the, like in that maybe list, or even then you got to put Margarito for sure. At least to me, in my opinion, you got to put Margarito in.
Well, look, he ended up. He first of all, he wasn't babied when he started his career. He was just put in there. I guess he was a very crude fighter, and he ended up losing to Rodney Jones, who was a slickster. Just put it that way. Who else did he lose to? Hold on a second. He lost to Rodney Jones.
I mean, they're never going to put him in, are they? Because of the situation
scandal.
of high raps. Yeah, they're not going to put him in that.
Look, Sergio Martinez was very green himself, but let's give it to him. Let's give every benefit of that to Margarito. So let's give him the Martinez win. Let's give him the Kamau win, who was a tough. No, actually, Kamau was too fucking basic. Franco Randall was finished. Daniel Santos was a no contest. Antonio Diaz, that's a good win. Andrew Sixhead
Golden
Lewis.
Johnson, bro. Don't forget Golden Johnson.
All right, are you kidding me here, man?
I watched that live, boy. I watched it live happen. He knocked that.
He fucked him up.
Recognize, did you get into a fight that night as well?
No.
Well, he beat an
best behavior.
He beat an undefeated Kermon
Cintron.
Cintron, yeah, he beat Cintron.
That is true. That is true.
And he beat Joshua Clottey too.
Twice.
The very tough Joshua Clottey. And don't listen. I'm gonna take a page off of Recognize's book here. If he should go into the Hall of Fame for one single thing, it should be for the Lujan fight where he tore his ear up, ripped it apart. It was disgusting and beautiful at the same time. I say he makes it in. Why not?
That's true.
Yeah. Put Pacquiao in a hospital.
He put Pacquiao in the hospital too. Fucked his wife as well, I think.
Yeah.
But or am I making that last part up? Did I make that?
Guys, the body shot that Pacquiao took on the ribs in the I think 6th round was, I mean, gruesome to watch. I'm surprised he didn't take a knee.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Pacquiao's a very tough guy.
That was a broken rib for sure.
Dude, he was just much bigger, man. It was like a 6 foot
up on that
guy,
shit.
a 6 foot guy versus a 5'5", lightweight. A 6'6", I mean 6'6", you mean a 6 foot middleweight versus or junior middleweight versus a 5'5" lightweight. That was a weird sight.
All right, we're having a very interesting discussion here in the chat room where Demise Melee says Margarito was never found guilty of illegal hand wraps, and then BJB says Cotto proved that he used cement in his gloves in their first fight, and in another fight, Margarito is hand wrap cheat. And then Melee comes back and says, no, they found powder, not cement. Do you even know what a loaded glove is? That's from what I heard. That's true, right? Like something did drop out of his glove. And then they say that there were traces of ingredients consistent with the making of plaster of Paris. But did they ever actually find? Did they only find that in one glove, two gloves, and by end was it actually plaster of Paris that he had, or something consistent with plaster of Paris? And oh shit! Everybody fell off. I'm gonna have to ask the same question all over again. But
I heard your yeah.
Okay, you heard it.
Yeah.
Hold on a sec.
Are you talking about the Shane Mosley fight, right?
Yeah.
Right. They didn't find anything in the Cotto situation.
Mm-hmm.
It was Cotto insinuating that that's more than likely what happened. Listen, man, to me, he beat Cotto's ass. I'm sorry, man. I watched that fight enough time, and I've heard too many people complain, especially Puerto Rican fans. Oh, he was cheating. That doesn't count. I just saw him get his ass whipped.
You can't prove anything. Nothing ever been proved. So
I agree with you guys, and I think it was just a trial by public. I mean, I watched an interview with Abel Sanchez, and he corrected the reporter that there was no official verdict in terms of punishing Antonio Margarito for having something in his gloves. He said that it was the residue of a sweat and calcium in his old hand wraps. He used basically old hand wraps that got heavier throughout the time that he was using it.
Did you guys catch anything before I got dropped off? What I was trying to say?
No, we didn't.
No.
Well, what happened was Nazim Richardson he took the hand wraps into his own dressing room, right? So the chain of custody was broken, and in the time where he confiscated them without any authority and took them to his own dressing room, he could have done anything with them. You know what I mean? So not to say that he did, but because that happened and they weren't officially sealed and submitted as evidence, you know, because no one saw what he did with them while he had them in his custody, you know, you couldn't have proved anything. And even the stuff that they found on the wraps was very inconclusive, right? So nothing was ever proved.
What a mess,
you know.
What a mess.
Can I just ask what we're talking about? Because my internet cut out and I've been off for about 10 minutes.
Margarita's hand wraps.
Oh, right, yeah.
And Nassim's integrity.
Was that?
And Nassim's integrity. I saw his but
I don't trust the guy. I don't trust Nassim. I don't trust him, man. He's a very low life scumbag.
He reminds me of Andre Ward, you know, his holier than thou attitude.
Yeah, that's true. He does come across a little bit like they're always quoting scripture and all that. Like, I'm very weary of people that quote scripture all the time. Like, I did it once on the show. That's about it. Once is enough. This guy's out there all the time. And who calls himself Brother Nassim? I mean, I'm pretty sure he'll probably say that somebody gave it to him, but I don't know.
I'm surprised that.
Stu, are you there? You're dropping off, or you dropped off actually. Your sound.
Look, Shane Mosley, confirmed PED user. Steve Cunningham, for damn sure looks like one. His gloves are fishy as fuck. Then you have Bernard Hopkins, one of the slickest, dirtiest fighters in the game. For damn sure was using something in his old age at the very least. I mean, Nazim Richardson, come on. That whole side of the street is fucking shady.
Yeah, I agree. There's something. My instincts tell me that there's something shit. Like, you know, you wouldn't if you wouldn't trust a guy who knows all about dirty tricks, right? Because he's probably
wasn't the same with Roy Jones as well at some point.
No,
is that incorrect?
No. Roy Jones hates him, and he hates Roy Jones. No.
And by the way, and at the end, Nassim Richardson ended up getting dropped by Hopkins. Hopkins dropped him for the last fight, and they never gave any indication as to why there was a rift between them. Could have been money issues, could have been, I don't know, because Hopkins always stuck by Nassim Richardson even after Hopkins dropped Bowie Fischer, because again, they had a disagreement, I think after the Joppy fight or one of those fights. Or it might have been a later fight. It was after the first Jermaine Taylor fight. But whatever, listen, both Hopkins and Richardson, especially Hopkins, he seems to be like a very hard-headed individual. He does what he wants. He doesn't take bullshit from anybody. So that's why I'm amazed that he's even been with Golden Boy Promotions for so long, because a lot of people predicted that it wasn't going to last. And he's been with them now. Yeah.
Don't forget John David Jackson's slick ass, too. He's part of that camp. He's been in and out of that camp, too.
Yeah.
Fucking snake.
Nobody's holding their words back for those guys. Listen, when it comes to Hopkins and Nassim Richardson, it's true what Recognize said, that he gives that Andrew Ward, you know, vibe of do whatever it takes to win. Even if it's, you know, something dirty, whatever. It's like winning is the number one thing. Fuck everything. Fuck integrity. That's the way it seems to me. I don't know. Could be wrong.
By any means necessary.
By any means, exactly. And by the way, I just realized we got Jimmy in the house.
I had a bad trip at a wedding in Maine, and it was a stormy night, right? I'm on LSD. Oh, I was fucking freaking out. It was horrible. I'll never take it again.
All right. We got Jimmy.
Oh, my God. That's fucking unbelievable.
That's a legendary blow. Hey, Jimmy, I told Butcho to use that from Goodfellas.
Somebody.
Yeah, when they did that robbery, and he's in the shower going, Jimmy! I told Butcher to get that one out. And
that's what that was from. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. My God, I wasn't expecting it. Yeah, right away. That's when he was in the shower, right? When he heard about the robbery.
Yeah, that's right, bro.
On him. And he rolls on him, gives him fucking a leg.
Yeah, BDA
fucking junkie.
Was BDA?
Yeah, no.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
Always.
What did I tell you?
Sorry.
And, can I tell you what I heard about? I heard Oscar and Bernard don't get along too well at all. I heard Oscar gets along better with Eric, but this is what I was told. Again, take it for what it's worth. It was from somebody, it was in the whole boxing scene, but Oscar knew he had to get somebody, obviously, especially the way everything's signed up through race now, you know what I mean? To fucking get someone to make sure to, help bridge that gap. Because now if it was just Eric and Oscar, how are you going to sign, especially with all the pressure being put on them by their own people right now, which is crazy. I just see it. They call each other. Is it the word coon? Am I saying that right? Is that what they call each other now? If you do shit that's like anti-black, if you're black.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to be using the wrong terminology.
Anthony Joshua's one, isn't he? Anthony Joshua's one for making £15 million a fight.
Slightly.
This is new to me, so like I said, I'm just trying to catch up. All right, I'll listen to you guys.
He's a slave, isn't he, apparently?
Does that make Canelo a Mexican?
He's a vendido. He's a vendido. He's sold out. That's what they would call him, because he's actually, unless he lives in Mexico.
Malinche,
A Malinche,
I was just going to say quickly. When you mentioned about trainers, right? Steve Bunce made a great point about a lot of these American trainers. He goes, they turn up with a pimp suit on, and they call themselves a trainer.
Oh my God!
And he's got a great point. I mean, a lot of these trainers are just fucking useless. Just names. That's all they are. I mean, when we go through the great trainers in America right now, can someone help me out? Can someone help me name 3?
I can tell you somebody I like right now. I know a lot of people giving him shit for leaving Vargas in there for a long time, which I don't, because Vargas is a champ regardless of the size differential. But I like Rozier lately. I like the way he trained the last few fights I've seen him. I've liked his mannerisms in the corner. I like how he has nutritionists. He's implicating a lot of the new stuff we talked about. So I like him. But that's one off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, Freddie Roach is finished.
Freddie Roach is, he's doing a show right now. He's doing a show right now. He's doing a reality show right now. No, he can't. He's got to have somebody else do it. Yeah, there's some kind of reality show or something right now that I heard somewhere.
He's not got Pacquiao anymore. He's got nothing to do, is he? He's not got Pacquiao, so he's got not much to do.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, let's hope it's not a fly in the wall show following Freddie Roach around, because that'd be like, fuck me, that'll send enough people to sleep that well. I mean, who wants to follow Freddie?
Well, I'll tell you, if his brother was involved back in the day in the 80s when I knew the Roaches, because they were here from Massachusetts, his brother was a fucking lunatic kid. Fucking straight lunatic. Party animal, fucking in fights, and just, he was a nut. Freddie was pretty. His mother was actually a judge. She was nice to me. I used to give me candy at the gloves. She was a judge back in the day.
I think Freddie Roach was a good trainer when he was healthy, and he's been actually when he was sick, he was still a good trainer. But now I just don't see. He is very expensive and brings very little to the table, and I think that's why a lot of people fight.
It's a name now. It's like if you have Freddie Roach in your corner, it just adds weight to you. You know what I mean? To a fighter. And I mean, he made $5 million, didn't he? Like $5.8 million off the Pacquiao fight.
Oh, Manny Pacquiao he funded his gym and everything. The reason he's got that gym is because of Manny. The reason he's a multi-millionaire is because of Manny. Manny pays him ridiculous.
And he fucking, I guess he's still got his fucking tooth fairy money. So I guess he's tight as a motherfucker.
He's tooth fairy money. Look. With Freddie Roach, man, he was a good trainer. Don't get me wrong, but this is my contention, is that there's a ton of good trainers out there that never get the break. They never get that one guy. Because listen, Freddie Roach, he was building up a nice stable, but it's when he finally got Pacquiao, that's when everybody started jumping in. So in order to be a successful, famous trainer, you need one guy, one special fighter, so that everybody else recognizes what a good trainer you are, and then they all jump into your bandwagon. Look at Virgil Hunter. He didn't really have anybody other than Andrew Warden. I think Kareem Mayfield, or that guy that got dropped by Matisse in one run. What was his name? Mike Dallas, I think, or something Dallas Jr.
Well, he ended up getting Amir Khan, didn't he? And Andre Berto.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. After Ward beat up Chad Dawson, and when he won that Super 6, that's when other people looked at him and said, other fighters, and go, hey, listen, I need a change in my career. I'm gonna go with Virgil Hunter. So that's what the same thing happened with Freddie Roach. Same thing happened with Buddy McGirt back in 2000, in the mid 2000s. Like you need that one fighter or maybe two fighters sometimes that make it on HBO, get the big wins, and then that's when all the other fighters start gravitating towards you. Freddie Roach was, I'm not saying he's a bad trainer, but he was lucky in that he was able to get that fantastic fighter in Pacquiao. He was able to mold him into a better fighter. But there's a ton of other trainers out there that they don't get that special fighter.
Well, you know, it's different now in the modern era compared to back in the day. Back in the day, it was like I always compare stuff to hockey because that's my other sport. But like they get kids from, you know, coaches from junior or from college, and they have a resume. Back in the day, what you would have is the trainers who had a bunch of amateurs, kids who aren't doing it, you know, aren't getting paid money. And if they develop amateurs into good, you know, fighters, and they win the, you know, national titles, they're taking kids from the street. So, you know what I mean? You know, they know what they're talking about. It's a lot of times now it seems more like it's who you had as a kid and you just take them with you up to your champion. You see a lot of these one-hit quitters. Like you see a trainer, you never see him again once that guy leaves. Like Freddie Roach seems to be an old school where it doesn't, remember back in the day you would have stables, like, you know, Kronk would have a stable of fighters. It doesn't seem to be like that as much anymore. And I think that's a direct effect of the amateur system being so shitty now. Like my grandfather was, back in the day, I mean, he had so many pros offer him big money to train him. He just never wanted to leave the amateurs. He took teams to the nationals every year. And he said, I don't want to deal with pros.
Yeah, these promoters are living off their names. Joe Gallagher from the UK, prime example. I mean, this fucking guy. I mean, how he keeps getting these fighters, I'll never know. This guy's got no gym. He's fucking useless. His game plans are terrible. I mean, this guy couldn't teach a fucking German Shepherd how to sit. Do you know what I mean? Never mind. Well, he couldn't. He's absolutely fucking useless. I mean, his game plan is lose the first 7 rounds and then come on strong in the last 5 and we might nick it on points.
All those fighters cover up. They just pony their fucking arms up in front of their face. And now isn't he got Callum Johnson? Or is it, am I saying his name right? Or
Yeah, Callum Johnson.
Yeah, Callum Johnson.
Dropped off. But yeah, it's true what you said to you about Joe Gallagher. I mean, look what he did with Crawler. I mean, the only time his game plan actually worked out was when Crawler fought Barroso. And you know, the same thing with Joe Gallagher's. Yeah, it's a Crawler Barroso fight. That game plan worked excellent. But he's relying on luck every time. He's relying on the other fighter to gas out.
He's relying on stupid fighters like Barroso, loading up his punches early on, trying to bomb someone out, and then blowing his bolt. Yeah. That's what he relies on. And Barroso come with a terrible game plan. He came to take Crawler's head off. Crawler was just covering up, typical Joe Gallagher style, taking the sting off the shots and then come on strong. And it worked. But a lot of fighters, like he tried the same against Linares, but he just got beat up even terribly. Do you know what I mean? It weren't even close for me. And you can't do that. Well, you can't give away 5 rounds against someone like Linares and expect the fucking. I mean, what is this guy thinking?
He got trainer of the year, didn't he?
Scott 2016.
Scott Quigg against Frampton was one of the worst game plans I've ever seen in a boxing.
Yeah.
I've never heard him say anything in the corner that's impressed me either.
Yeah, but the thing is, Joe Gallagher got Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year a few years ago. How the fuck did that work out? I mean, what wins
2016.
Exactly, man. That's the worst one, man.
I hear another. I see today. I can't even remember because it's been a busy day today. But I see that someone else has left Shane McGuigan. Some fighters left him. So this guy, I told you about Shane McGuigan. There's just something about this guy. I think it's arrogance. I think it's arrogance, and I think it's blowing his own trumpet a little bit. He's a bit like his dad.
Rose is sticking with him, though, isn't he?
I mean, well, yeah, because let's be real. Look at his last trainer. I mean,
yeah, Paddy. Yeah.
When you've had Paddy, I mean, fucking a fucking guy in a coma would be a good trainer compared to him.
Yeah, Paddy was terrible, man. He literally never. I think his best professional was like a 4-1 professional before he got Groves.
He reminds me of Mickey from Rocky. You're not gonna tomorrow, Rock.
Look, to be a trainer, man, it's a sometimes it can be a thankless endeavor. Fighters will leave you for big money. You know, it's always the same thing when a fighter, when it's going good, it's going good. But then if you start losing a couple of fights, all of a sudden it's like, oh, the fighter says, I got to change something. What can I change? Oh, the trainer. And you've seen that with Khan. De La Hoya was a master of just changing trainers. I mean, this guy would change trainers like he changed underwear, and it was nonstop. It was always a trainer's fault. Always a trainer's fault. Then you have some guys that even Pacquiao. Look, Pacquiao was with Freddie Roach for a long time, and now he dumped him. Or that's according to what some people are saying. I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently, yeah, he's not.
Be fair to Pacquiao, bro. You know, then Pacquiao's a smart guy. He can see Freddie's he's done. And what good are you when you're paying a guy 10% of your fee, and Manny Pacquiao's fees, big fees? You're paying a guy even 8%. For what? The guy can't even hold pads up.
That's a good point. But my point is, I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm not in that position. But how about loyalty? You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, he can't hold the pads for you.
Let's be real. Manny Pacquiao has shown Freddie Roach more loyalty than any fighter has showed any trainer I can think of. I mean, let's be real. He's been beat a few times, sparked out by Marquez. Not once did he blame Roach. He stuck with Roach, right? He's been very loyal. I mean, when you look at a lot of fighters, especially Amir Khan, you mentioned him earlier. I mean, a lot of fighters, their egos are so big. They need a scapegoat when they lose, and it's usually the trainer. It's usually the trainer, and this is the they don't understand. Amir Khan, it hasn't got into Amir Khan's head that he's got a piss poor chin. It's Freddie Roach's fault. It was Freddie Roach's fault for making Amir Khan go out and throw his hands, you know, or it's this guy's fault for making Amir Khan not fight how he wants to. There's always someone else. I mean, look, this guy, man. You know what I mean, so you can't really say about Manny. I think he's been more than loyal to Freddie.
I agree.
Yeah, and also you look at it like, Pacquiao at this point. Obviously, you know, he's let's be honest, I mean, we don't know how many more fights he's got left. So, you know, if he beats he's going to beat Matisse. You know, I think he'll win that quite comfortably, pending he hasn't been completely shy overnight. But, you know, Pacquiao's, you know, one more loss and that's it. So, you know, why keep Freddie Roach on, you know, when he can take on another trainer who can actually do new things with him in the gym, you know what I mean? So, at the end of the day, you know, loyalty is loyalty. You know, you can be loyal what you want, but sometimes you got to upset people for the greater good. So
how loyal has Roach been to Pacquiao? I mean, you know, you got to consider that as well, because to me it seems like he sold him out, man. I don't know.
Look at the Jeff Horn fight. I mean, that was like very mind fucking for me. Like, I mean, he didn't say anything about the low blows, the headbutts and all that, you know.
But then Roach say after that fight, he's like, Pacquiao either rematches Horn or he should retire. I mean, you're not going to keep a trainer on who says things like that, or you leave it, let's be honest.
That's true. That's very true. You're right.
I lost a lot of respect for Freddie after the Cotto-Canelo fight when he had fucking actually said that he felt, you know, Cotto won. It's like, dude, don't be disingenuous asshole. I hate that shit, dude. You saw the fight, Freddie. You know he lost. He mailed that fucking fight in. I mean, come on. He never tried, never planted his feet. I was disgusted by Cotto's performance. For him to fucking storm out of the ring and Freddie follow him and jump in front of the camera.
Oh, man.
All right, so people fell off again. Okay. Yeah, but
what
I mean,
about Postal Crawford, man? I mean, you got this guy with the height and reach advantage, and you're trying to turn like a fleet-footed boxer into Gennady Golovkin because he's fighting Terrence Crawford. What the fuck was that all about?
Yeah,
that's what makes the best trainers. The best trainers are the ones that get a fighter. They don't change a lot. They'll just tweak things. Like Emmanuel Stewart, I mean, he changed Vladimir massively. I mean, that was great what he did. But most good trainers, will just tweak little things like Garcia did with Maidana. Just added a jab and added a bit of head movement. Just little things, because you cannot get Maidana to be a back foot fighter being slick. It's just not going to happen. So you have to work with what you've got. And for me, the best trainers are the ones that get a top fighter and just tweak little things here to make him the next level up sort of thing. Like Mark Maidana.
Robert Garcia is a big reason why Maidana made a lot of money in the end. Big part of it.
Stu, you know, my grandfather used to always say the best trainers hide their fighters' flaws the best.
Yeah.
That's what he used to say.
He's part of, what Emmanuel Stewart did with Klitschko, he could see Klitschko, because I mean, I think it was precise said a few months ago about Vladimir how exciting he used to be, and he did. He used to go in for the knockout, and he was really exciting to watch, but he was getting sparked out. And Emmanuel Stewart just changed him. He sort of turned him into another Lennox Lewis. You know, used his tools, used the things that he was good at, and the things that he was bad at, kept him away from it. And yes, he was boring to watch, but the resume speaks for itself. 10 years unbeaten, you know, all the belts, one of the great heavyweights of all time. Who would have thought that when he was getting sparked out by Corey Sanders? Do you know what I mean?
He
so
did.
You have to give.
Yeah, he did with Klitschko what Hunter should have done with Amir Khan. You know what I mean? He couldn't do it.
To Hunter's defense, he did try, didn't he, to make Khan into more of a defensive fighter as opposed to just a guy that goes in there and lets the combinations flow. And he even tried working on the guy's neck. You know, he tried to make that neck stronger, you know, make him like a horse's neck, but it didn't work. The hell was that?
Yeah, maybe it's Khan's fault.
I think it is. I mean, it's the chin, man. I mean, Hunter knew what he had to...
That's not Khan's fault, is it? I mean, if you got no chin, you got no chin. I mean, you know, you're born with a shit chin, you know what I mean?
I disagree.
Yeah. But Stu brings up a good point, man. There seems to be a drought of good trainers in the United States right now. I mean, what do we got? Like half-crippled Freddie Roach,
come on,
Wilder, Mark Breland, and fucking Nonito Donaire Sr. I mean,
Ronnie Shields, you got.
Oh God, thanks.
You got Keisha Cole's baby father, haven't you, Virgil Hunter?
What about? But hold on, Derrick James.
Baby father.
Lou Duval looks like something terrible happened.
How about Derrick?
Jimmy, do you guys remember Lou Duva? Oh, what's that, buddy?
Hey, Lou Duva's been dead a while now, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, forever. I mean, for a while. But sorry, did you ask me something?
Happy Duva's husband, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, not Lou Duva. I'm not thinking Lou Duva. Fuck, not Lou Duva. He'll come to me. He was a white-haired guy. He would scream at the fucking referees and throw the water sponge.
Norman Stone.
No, he's talking about. You're talking about Lou Duva. You are talking about Lou Duva.
It is Lou Duva, yeah.
Yeah, okay, Lou Duva, right? The guy, he used to be in the corner with fighters and shit, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and Roger Mayweather.
I'm sorry.
He's the one. He's the one that Roger Mayweather slugged, I think, in the Vinny Paz fight.
Roger Mayweather.
Who's the American Cameron? Who's the American guy that used to train Lennox Lewis before Emmanuel Stewart? His name was Pepe Carrera or something.
Oh yeah, Pepe Carrera. Yeah.
Yeah, he's British and he's bad. That's all he used to say, weren't it?
Pepe Correa.
It was. That's all he used to say. But he did a good job with Lennox Lewis. But for some reason, I thought he was quite a decent trainer. But as soon as he got knocked out by McCall, I think it was, Lennox Lewis got shot of him and managed to stood straight in.
Yeah, and Correa, I think he was on the Contender, was it, or was it on the De La Hoya? No, yeah, he was in the Contender. He was one of the. There it is. There's a photograph there. He was one of the trainers for that Contender show, the first season or second season, I forget. But yeah, he was again. See, there's a lot of trainers that just get left on the wayside. For example, I keep saying I think Joe Goosen is a very good trainer, but I don't know. Maybe he works his fighters too hard, and some of these guys don't like it. Again, you gotta keep in mind, there's a lot of boxers out there. They don't like the hard. By the way, Pavel, you've been wanting to say something.
Who's the one with who's the one who's got Spencer and Charlos and that?
Rozier.
Oh, that's
Derrick James. Derrick James. Yeah.
Don't even mention it.
Why not?
I just don't. The fucking guy.
He's probably got the best stable of fighters in the US as a trainer, right?
Yeah, he's probably the best up and coming trainer right now.
Yeah.
Time will tell, but
this is a guy.
His trash talking game is horrible. No, I know.
This is a guy that didn't even know who Kell Brook was 4 weeks before the fight. I mean, let's be real. It's not the greatest trainer around. He's just looking at Errol Spence. I mean, I could train Errol Spence and he'd knock people out. You know, certain fighters.
I think you got to give him a little bit of credit of what he did with Charlo. I mean, Charlo was considered boring, not that good. Not that he's great necessarily, but at the very least, he turned him into an exciting fighter that gets the knockout now, you know? I don't know. Maybe it's just chemistry, but whatever.
Maybe he's a good trainer, but for me, I just see... I don't know what goes on in the gym, so I'm not going to sit and say he's a shit trainer, but I think it's very amateurish that you don't know who Kell Brook is when he's the champion in your guy's division 4 weeks before the fucking fight. 5 weeks before the fight, whatever. He came on the Boxing Voice and admitted it, so I'm not lying. You know what I mean?
Didn't Robert Garcia have like 4 fighters in a row come in overweight?
Yeah.
It was like 3 championship fights in a row, Garcia fighters. I heard he gives them a lot of rope to hang themselves. It's like, I'll train you in your hair, but he doesn't like bust stones.
Gives them a lot of fucking tacos by the look of it.
Beer and tacos, man, for sure. These people love to party, man.
Hey, by the way,
guys, why are we forgetting?
Did you say about Eddie Hearn? What he said about you see what Eddie Hearn said about Mikey Garcia?
What did he say?
He said that they had a meeting, innit? Because Mike Garcia wants me to promote. He said, he said he's had a meeting. And Eddie Hearn said he's very confident if Mike Garcia comes through his next fight that Mike Garcia is going to be one of his guys that he signs, and he's going to one of his main guys.
He's going to knock Robert Easter out. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, but then he has to fight Lomachenko. At some point, he has to fight Lomachenko. So.
No, not this year. Well, it'll be next year, won't it?
Yeah.
Guys, I think we totally forgot about Abel Sanchez. You got to give him credit, man. You know what I mean? He's got to be the best trainer right now. Triple G, even Shafikov, man. I know he's gotten screwed over in a lot of fights, but you can make an argument that he's the best lightweight out there.
He done quite a bit with Carson Jones. No, it's not really the same, but Carson Jones.
But he did a good job with Carson.
Yeah, he came over and knocked out a lot of our up-and-coming prospects anyway.
Well, the thing was Golovkin, I mean,
he's Mexican.
Golovkin's like 393 or something. I don't know what it was. He's with 5 or something. His ridiculous amateur record. So, did he have to do a lot with Golovkin?
Yeah, but Gassiev got 20 fights, 20 amateur fights. You know what I mean? He did a lot with that guy. So, I think he's quality. Yeah. He's quality.
We look at Gassiev being a unified champion, yeah.
By the way, there was a picture, a photo. There was a Dante and some Cuban channel. They were at the summit, Big Bear Summit, and it was 4 years ago. And there was a picture, I think it's on Twitter, where Triple G is standing and the other guy is folded in half. And that nobody mentioned it anywhere, but it was our young champion, cruiserweight. He was folded by Triple G. But he was very green back then, Murat Gassiev.
Wait, what do you mean? He was taking a body shot or something?
Yeah.
What?
That rumor that Triple G hit a cruiserweight or heavyweight, whichever it was, he's saying that it was Gassiev.
Yeah.
Right. Speaking about a heavyweight that Golovkin dropped, Chavez Jr. most likely.
I think this is why Dante, he just doesn't like Triple G, because he saw it with his own eyes.
Right, because he knows that if he ever got... you got to understand, for Dante, when he hates somebody, the fact that the guy will fuck his ass up at the same time, that's got to really hurt you. And then on top of that, he's white, so...
Yeah, he takes it.
That's a real, like, that's a triple blow.
He takes it personally. And by the way, Jimmy, I'd like to ask you, going back to the trainer thing, do you think if you take a renowned amateur coach whose pupils, achieved like international success, he has a great record, do you think he would do very well in the pro game as well, comparing to those famous trainers?
In boxing, I mean, it's so individually, with the personality. I mean, imagine trying to imagine trying to be the trainer of Brona. Imagine dealing with that train wreck. You know what I mean? It's, it's just, it is what it is. But if you got a kid like, there's some kids like Spence, doesn't seem, overly, cerebral, but I've seen training videos of him. The kid works hard. If you get a kid who's willing to listen to you and work hard, but you got to have a good trainer has that relationship. They see things that, we're not going to see. They notice movements. They'll notice when you've been hurt long before we will. And when you keep changing trainers, you don't establish that relationship. And I think that, like Precise says earlier, they just use it as an excuse. They jump from trainer to trainer. Just blame it on them. So, but it all comes down to if you got to have a strong personality, first off. If you're not if it's you don't know from a little kid, you better be dominant, because if not, type A personalities, these fighters, they're going to walk over you. A lot of them, once they get a taste of that money, the excuses start coming to, you know. And if and if you don't have a friendship too, if it's just a total business relationship, then you're always under threat. They're just going to gas you. You push them too hard, it's going to fire you.
Guys, we just went from retarded to mentally challenged to not overly cerebral. I think we're making progress.
I absolutely agree. See, that's what it's all about. You guys.
Well, I heard him say that earlier. Like I better like temper my words here.
And you made a good point, Jimmy. But I'd like to, I don't know, ask you if there's a very distinct feature that differs the pro coaches, you know, the renowned ones, versus those amateur coaching veterans in terms of you know, the knowing the aspect of the pro game and all that. Do you think that those amateur guys would really adapt well if they have something to work on?
Well, as long as they know the pro game, look at what happened to Lomachenko and his dad when they got introduced to it. You know, with Salido, probably one of the worst guys. That he knew all the tricks. He knew to hit. He watches. He got his head down because you have lights right overhead when you box. Those are the most bright lights. They cast shadows. So when you're looking down at your feet, when you're in the ring, you can see a lot of times. You don't have to look at the ref to know where he is. And if you see a shadow on your right, when you're, Salido always gets his head down, he knows to punch you in your hip or between your hip and your knee. Keep punching you in the leg. And believe it or not, that doesn't sound like not a big deal. That somebody start hooking you in the leg all day, you're going to get off, it's going to slow you down. So they learn all those little nuances, those dirty tricks. Yeah, and the pros, too, you got to remember, back in the day, now picture this. They used to hand you your gloves an hour before, right, to have your trainer work on them. So they would put the glove on, you would make a fist in it, he would take his finger, whatever, scratch it on the glove, and he would work it and bend it to get it all broken in. And that was back when they used to use fucking gauze and tape. So once it sweated, it turned like a cast. And they'd already worked the gloves, so it was crazy. You know what I mean? But to answer your question, yes, I think they could if they know all the nuances. And again, it just all depends on who you got. If you have a triple G, like Abel Sanchez is awesome, but Abel Sanchez takes no grief at all. Look what happened to Kovalev. He went up there. I think he lasted half a camp, and he knew he wasn't, they potted on good ways or whatever, but that's how it is. You come up here, you got to work. If you don't work, there's the door. Yeah. The same way fucking Stewart was at the Gronk.
I think the best example. Go ahead, Bob.
Go. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, me too. To your point, exactly to your point, that your best example of that happening today is Ismael Salas, who was, I believe, a trainer of the Cuban team. Then he went to Thailand, and out of these no names, he made 5 world champions. Then he's got Linares, Joe Joyce. Well, we won't blame him for David Hay, but there's an example of an amateur coach really making an impact in the pros,
What about the guy that used to train? He was in Gamboa's corner. What's his name? Pedro Diaz? Is that his name? No, the guy who does all
I think that's Rigondeaux's trainer, right?
I think so. Yeah, that's him. When he was with Cotto, I do think he made a big difference with Cotto. I mean, Cotto, when he fought Margarito, he looked sharper. He knew how to clinch this time when he fought Margarito, spin him. Don't get too overly excited with the combinations. I thought he was a good fit with Cotto, but then Cotto is another guy that just keeps switching trainers. I mean, for some reason or another, he got into a rift with his uncle, and then he moved on to Stewart.
He's a very disrespectful man, Cotto.
Yeah, that's what you said, right? Last episode, I think, that he's very volatile.
He was very the story that I heard was very disrespectful, what he did to how it all ended, which probably tells you the story.
Did he get into a fist fight with his uncle? Like a fist fight?
Right.
That's fucking crazy, man.
And there's a lot of people that know Cotto, that know who Miguel Cotto is. He's got family over here in New York, in the Bronx. And from what I was told, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Much better.
From what I was told, his father, like, that contributed to his death.
Oh,
watching his brother and that's his little brother. Hold on 1 second, guys.
Right. Oh, I think the Cotto family got to him. They heard what he was about to say. They didn't like it. And they sent the Puerto Rican Luca Brazzi to get him. I hope he's okay.
I can back up what he said. I know there's a high Puerto Rican population here in Lowell too, and I've never heard too many people say good things about him. That's you know what I mean.
Yeah, because didn't afterwards the uncle, like Buchos and Recognize, said that they got into a fist fight, and I think then the uncle went outside and he threw a cinder block at Cotto's car, I think, like a luxury automobile. And so, yeah, they got into a fight. There were cinder blocks. When you start throwing around cinder blocks, I think that's when you can know that there's a real disagreement going on. You know, it's not just that you're training me too hard or I want the weekend off or whatever. It's really... And then here's another interesting little point. After Miguel Cotto broke his relationship with his uncle, he got a bunch of tattoos, and that's a psychological tell right there. When a guy's trying to move on, or he's in a transition stage in his life, oftentimes you will see people getting tattoos. You saw it Shane Mosley when he got divorced. All of a sudden, boom, he's got like the tribal Maori tattoo all over his body. So I think that's what happened with Cotto, man. He started getting. It's almost as if a sign of I'm free. You know, I'm in control. I get that. Yeah, I'm in control. So that's what. There's definitely that was a big event in his life, breaking up and or cutting off ties with his uncle. And I'm curious if maybe after the father's death, did they ever reconcile?
I'm sorry about that, guys.
Right. Yeah. So Recognize. We were talking about that. That apparently didn't Cotto or Cotto's uncle throw a brick at Cotto's car after? Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, listen. His father and his dad, the trainer of Cotto, that was Cotto's younger brother. That was Cotto's father's younger brother, excuse me. And they had a very close relationship growing up. To see, from what I heard was that the father Cotto and Jose Cotto, they actually got into a fight in one of those fights in the ring.
I guess a Thai guy, right?
And if you listen and if you understand what Cotto was saying, Cotto jumps into the corner, and if you understand Puerto Rican slang, he's disrespecting his uncle right in front of his face by grabbing his brother and saying, "Calm down." He's saying in a slang word, in other words, "Fuck him. Just do what you got to do." Yeah. Like so I'm not saying that his uncle didn't add to it, but it got so bad that they got into a fight where they went fist for fist going at it. I heard Cotto got the best of that. Obviously.
No kidding.
Yes.
I mean, let's be real.
But they were trying to stab each other. That was that's like they won't talk about that, but that's what I heard. Like they were trying to stab each other. They were like, making death threats. I'll kill you. I'll shank you. I'll stab you.
That Puerto Rican stereotype.
Right. Like if I ever catch you, I'm gonna kill you. If I ever, I'll kill your like nasty things. Like I'll kill your wife. Like that's what they were telling me, and it got ugly. Like this shit wasn't like no little spat, and it was like, I see you on the street. It's on. I'm gonna try to kill you.
Homo thugs. That whole family, man. Homo thugs. I'm just saying. Diva tendencies run deep in that family. Yeah. Just look at what's happening.
But from what I hear, it's really Cotto. It's really Cotto mainly. He was like the spoiled type. The gifted one. Let's be extra sensitive with him. Kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, Ricky Hatton beat the shit out of his dad.
Oh yeah! Look at that. You see?
Yeah, but
Ricky, they had a fist fight in the street. Ricky Hatton filled him in. His own dad.
But that was when he was on coke, right? Or no?
Yeah. Well, that makes it better, does it?
Well, maybe it explains. I mean, it's not him. It's not entirely. He's not entirely all there,
Well, Mickey just got arrested right after the movie came out for. He tossed his girlfriend's dad a beating after the premiere. He always ran his mouth. His girlfriend, I don't know if you guys saw the movie, she did come from a better side of the tracks, and and her father was always a condescending big dude, just a condescending prick. And Finally, one night he just ran his mouth a little too much, and I guess Mickey didn't even close his fist, but still gave him a couple open hand slaps and gave a fucking trip to the E room.
Wow.
Derek Chisora's a woman beater, known woman beater.
Really?
Oh, I'm not even surprised. Definitely not surprised at that.
Never heard that.
Yeah, Dillian White talking about it. Dillian White was killing him, innit? He goes, the only person you've knocked out lately is your missus. Do you know what I mean?
That's so bad, man.
You know, another guy that was a guy that was a big. By the way, hold on. Before we move on, the Cotto thing. So, did Cotto's father? Did Cotto ever reconcile with his uncle, or is that still...
No. Now I don't know what happened after his father died, and since then, but no, this was a real fight. Like, I don't know who they are, but there was other people involved in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
This was like, no, they were close to killing each other. This was, this was
Royal Rumble kind of thing.
Right. Like, people were pulling out knives, you name it, man. Yeah.
You know what I'm laughing at? I'm laughing because that happened in the gym. They probably had salsa music playing in the background. So while all of this is going on, I'm gonna kill your wife and all that.
They had some Tego Calderon playing and
They
playing.
had Cotter's son doing ballet in the background.
Yeah, he was doing a pole dance on one of the poles there. Like
Cotto is French kissing his fucking handler.
Yeah.
His handler, yeah.
You guys see those pictures?
No, but he's
That's
an
creepy.
asshole,
What's
man.
up with the fuck? He's always making out with that dude.
They sleep on the same bed and everything.
That kid is a homo, man. I think he's a homo.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, that training camp with Floyd, yeah. I mean, did it cross his mind that people might fucking start to think what a weirdo when he jumps in a single bed? Do you know what I mean? But he does that. The guy's a multi-millionaire. You telling me he's got to share a single bed? This is not a guy that's just come off the street and said, "Oh, there's a bed for the night." This is a multi-millionaire, and he's sharing a fucking single bed with his trainer. And he's got cameras. He's got cameras filming it.
I have a theory about him, and it's very obvious. It's very obvious. There's certain signs that, and all you gotta do is look. I don't want to disrespect the man, but look at his taste in everything in life. I know a lot of people say, maybe I'll give myself up here. His wife is hot, is sexy, and this and this and that. I'm like, she looks like.
Go ahead, say it.
She looks like if you like her, you like, trannies that get.
I was about to say transvestite.
Yeah, that like I'm just sorry. That's not this.
Dude, my girlfriend saw the last Cotto fight when they showed his wife.
Prove to me she's a real woman. If I ever touch that, she would have to prove to me.
The reason, dude, my girl saw her on one of the HBO fights, and when they scanned it and they showed his wife, my girl said, "Mike, is that a transvestite?" Swear to God, that's what my girl said. Swear to God. So when you said that, I started fucking howling, so I had to jump in.
And no disrespect, no disrespect.
Yeah, no disrespect.
I'll beat the shit out of him in real life. I'm not worried about that, but he's just a fucking, a diva, a spoiled brat from what I could see. And,
no disrespect, but your wife looks like a tranny. No disrespect.
Yeah, his wife's a tranny.
No disrespect. Your wife's a tranny, and I'll knock the dog shit out of you.
Right, I mean, listen,
dude, honestly though, you must be a fucking.
I won't shoot a fair one with you. I'll kick you in your face. That's it. The fight will be over.
Recognize. No disrespect.
I know he'll outbox me. I know he'll definitely outbox me, but I'll kick him right in his face, and the fight will be,
Recognize is that no disrespect though? Yeah, no disrespect.
Yeah, no disrespect. No disrespect.
By the way,
I don't want to disrespect you, but your wife looks kind of funny, and I never liked the dude.
I'll stab a hole in your face, basically.
Met him one time. He's kind of, I didn't even shake his hand because the way he came off, we stood the whole time staring at each other like, make your move.
No
I didn't
kidding.
like the guy.
What the fuck? All right, listen.
He's one of those people who acts disinterested everywhere he is.
Right.
It's like he's bored for being there.
That's the kind of
he's above everybody and everything in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
Type of dude.
I'm like, dude, this is an honest to God story. Like, I went to Puerto Rico. That's where I met him. And he was just standing there, and he was just mean the whole time. They didn't want to give anybody, he was just a cold person. just a cold, cold-hearted person. I'm like, dude, you're 5'5". Like, get the fuck out of here.
Did you try to push him?
5'5", bro. Your head reaches my chest. Get out of here.
Did you try to give him a wedgie or something, like back in high school?
No. I just like kind of like just. It was like this. It was one of these things. Oh, look, that's Miguel Cotto, and he's like, I'll go over there and introduce you to him. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? I was there with a couple of friends. We went over there. The whole time, right? He kind of like, they were like, Cotto, Miguel, and then he like looked and he's like, I got some friends here. He's like, he did one of those put your hands up, like he put his hand up, like not right now. And he gave like this mean look when he did it, and he looked at us up and down. I was like, "The fuck is
dude, the back of your neck must have been on fire, dude. Tell me you didn't want to go over and choke him.
I would choke you. My hand is bigger.
That's disrespectful.
One of my hands is bigger than your face. Like
that's just disrespectful, man. That's bullshit. Treating grown ass men like that too. That's disrespectful. He's lucky you guys had class. You're lucky you didn't take out a gun and shoot him.
Well, that brings me to.
I'll be honest with you. He's lucky. I'll be honest with you. He's lucky that we were in Puerto Rico.
Was he wearing his pink slippers?
If he was in New York, it would have been a different ballgame.
Was he wearing his pink slippers?
If he was in New York, if he was in your turf, he wouldn't have fucking treated you.
Right,
like
I would have took my chance.
You know?
That's how mad I was. In Puerto Rico, if you get lost in the wrong area,
X wouldn't have stood for that.
I could have been chopped up somewhere.
Well, X would have done something about that, man. You acted like a bitch, straight up, man. X would have done something about it. You need to hang out more with X. That's what you need to do, man.
X would have been like, yo, fuck this motherfucker.
Exactly. All right, Stu, you wanted to say something.
I was just going to say, just change it up a bit from Cotto. Ask the people in the hangout who they think is the biggest piece of shit in boxing today. I mean,
well, let's ask Apology. Let's ask Apology because he just got here. He's been on the line for a while. Apology, are you there?
I have two. You got to have one. You can't be always between him and him. You got to pick one. Pick one.
Have we all got to pick one? Yeah.
Yeah. The piece of shit world champion.
Let's start with Apology. Apology, you go ahead, man. Are you even there, Apology? I think he waited too.
He's never there, man. He's got a shit mic. He won't be.
Apology is there.
No, hold on a second.
He's just on mute.
Yeah, he's probably not there right now. Anyway, okay. So who wants to start? Biggest piece of shit in boxing.
Biggest piece of shit in boxing. Fuck.
It's a tough one. Huh?
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Prince Patel.
I don't even know who that is.
Prince Patel.
Hey, just Google his interviews with Kugan Cassius.
Yeah, IFL this guy. Type it on YouTube. IFL TV Prince Patel.
I clicked on his video. It had 32 likes and 740 dislikes.
Oh, yeah,
it tells at the time. So I don't know what it was in the end, but this guy is an absolute fucking clown. He really is.
Isn't he the guy that gets knocked out all the time?
No, he's not lost the point.
You know, he's up and coming. He's had a draw. He had a draw against a bum in his third fight, and this guy he talks like he's the next Prince. He talks like he's the next Prince Nassim Hamid, but he fights more like Prince fucking Harry. Do you know what I
mean? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, he looks like he.
Charles.
Yeah, hello. Can you not hear me?
Hey, Kugan Cassius live on air said that he don't like. He goes, look, I don't like you, and I don't think I'm ever going to interview you again. He goes, oh, I didn't want you to interview me anyway, Kugan. He goes, I want Wingy Boxing to interview me.
Yeah.
He goes, and Kugan turns around and goes, you'll get who I decide you get. So Kugan it's very unlike him to lose his rag and get funny with fighters, but even he can deal with this guy, and he said he'll never interview him again. So. That's one for the chat. I mean, Andre Ward's got to be up there, but Andre Ward's not the sort of guy that he's just a piece of shit in the boxing ring. I don't think he's too bad.
Exactly, yeah. I agree with you, Stuart. You see, like, Andre Ward was a tough guy for me not to like because I thought in the beginning he was,
because he's quite.
Yeah, he just seemed like the type of guy that you can have you can talk with, and you'll actually like having a conversation with him. He's not dismissive of people, If Andre Ward would have behaved like that,
when he comes to England,
I would have been a little bit, understanding. Yeah. The guy's he's a big guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I can understand.
What are we defining it on, though, Stu? Are we defining it on them as a fighter or them as a person?
No, because we're not as a fighter. Because
I say my
I
vote.
just put that in there.
Oh,
Andre,
no, yeah.
Andre Ward.
Adonis
As a person.
Stevenson then for his fucking
Yeah.
history and crime.
Yeah, that's a good one. Adonis Stevenson's got to be up there on the list, isn't he?
Paulie Malignaggi.
Nah, he's not too bad. Nah, he's just some dumb shit, but no.
What about Pavel? Who does Pavel think?
Andre Ward.
Oh no.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, guys. Look, I mean, Andre Ward is like, you know, especially his demeanor after that fucking Kovalev robbery is just. I mean, it was too much for me. Acting like he was fucking winner from the first round. It was just plainly disgusting for me to watch his fucking talk and his attitude, his passive aggressiveness. I mean, the dude is clearly a piece of shit, but he acts like he's holier than thou. Fuck that guy.
Nah, Stevenson for me, man. That got his obvious choice for me.
Deontay Wilder's brother.
Yeah, hold on. Stu.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's that guy who killed Max Kellerman's brother?
James Butler.
Yeah, that him.
Yeah, he's not
all time. Are you saying all time?
Yeah, is this all time? Like, hold on. Is this
I'm
from
talking
all
about
time or current?
No, active fighters.
Okay.
Davis Ohio.
Who's yours, Butcho? Butcho, who's yours, bro?
Deontay Wilder's brother. He's a professional now.
If you're saying of all time,
but what's he done? What's his history? What's Cotto's history?
No, where are we going with Cotto? What do you mean? Who said Cotto?
No, if you're saying all time, if you're saying of all time, to me, it's me.
No, I'm not. I'm just talking about active fights. We could be all fucking day talking about all time. Look at me.
Okay, so of active fighters, one of the Charlo brothers.
What are these guys' history though? What have these guys done that's actually makes them piece of shit though? Like,
that's right. Yeah. Other than being annoying.
Charlo trying to start a fight with Gervonta Davis, who's only 5'5", 5'4", I think.
Yeah, but
well, you started a fight with Cotto.
You can just tell if someone's a piece of shit. It's not really rocket science.
That's true.
You know, the older you get, the more you work the character of someone out quite quickly. And like, I can be in a room with people I don't know, and I can know in a few minutes whether I think the guy's a dick or not. So it's not rock. No, it's not rocket. When you go through the boxers that are around today, I mean, there's a few pieces of shit out there, but Prince Patel just tops the list for me. I mean, this guy, because he's got no ability, he's got nothing to back his words. That's what makes it even worse.
What about
Is that kid that got knocked out? Did he get knocked out already?
No, man. What about Stu? What about David Hay?
No, because I don't think David Hay outside the ring's a bad guy. Do you know what I mean? I don't. David Hay's he's a crook. He's just a thief, isn't he? He's just a robbing thief. That's all he is.
That's a piece of shit, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a piece of shit, but I'm on about character. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, Neto. Hold on, Neto. Neto in the chat room says Canelo because he beat up Archie Solis, and then of course if you add the whole thing with the steroids and the fact that
he did seriously, did he really beat him up?
Well, that's the rumor. Like Archie Solis claims it, but then Canelo.
Stu, what about Frankie Gavin? He ended up going in a pub and starting hitting people with a chair. Do you remember that?
Whoa.
Did he really beat up Frankie
Gavin?
Frankie Gavin, the guy that said Manny Pacquiao was ducking him.
Yeah. Amir Khan's a bit of a piece of shit. If you go and buy his fucking. I mean, who goes on Skype and gets their fucking cock out? You know what I mean?
Hey, BDA, you've not even called yours yet. Who's yours?
Right now, I would probably say Canelo. All time, you know, you can look at, you know, people would say Ike Biabucci because he tried to rape a woman, but there was Joel Scott. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was from upstate New York. He actually...
James Butler's the worst, man.
James Butler has to win that hands down, man.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Well, yeah, actually, yeah, you're right.
That guy and then killing Max Kellerman's brother. But then again, BDA, I knew you'd pick Canelo because you're a bit of a Canelo hater, aren't you?
No, I'm not. And by the way, how about Panama Lewis with the whole fucking glove issue there?
Oh, yeah.
Disgusting.
For me, trainers, he is the biggest piece of shit trainer of all time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, come on, that was fucked. Unless there's somebody that we don't know about that has done something even more despicable.
Let's be honest, mate.
I bet Alexis Aguero fucking agrees with me. I mean, what he did to him. I mean, you know, Aaron Pryor there was something in that drink. You know there was.
There's
that guy
no
came
proof
out.
of it.
That guy came out in that round like a train, like a man possessed. Where did he find that energy and strength from? I mean, that was Lucas Aid sport before it was even fucking invented, weren't it? Let's be real. Whatever he was having.
If we're talking about piece of shit in boxing all time, that's just general people in boxing, then Don King's got to be at the top of that list as well.
Yeah, promoter, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Orlando Cruz for disrespecting the Puerto Rican flag.
Come on, man. Jeez. Hey, how about triple? How about triple?
Homosexuals.
Well, how about Triple G for not fighting Andrew Ward?
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying. I'm asking questions. I'm not saying that's what happened. But what about him?
BDA's gonna get hate in the chat.
Why not?
Warranted hate.
Warranted hate.
Canelo says Charlie Selenoff.
No, that guy's just sick in the head.
Come on,
you want to give that guy some credit because Wilder literally he almost killed that kid. So
that's how you know the guy is actually insane.
I mean, I'm sorry, BDA, but you are an adult, grown person, right? And you clearly see a kid who is, I mean, mentally challenged, right? Okay. So how can you, I mean, assault the guy? I mean, beat him while he's on the ground. I mean, no matter what he did verbally, I mean, it's just unthinkable to me. How can you fucking be so reckless?
He deserved it.
A true world champion with a bit of dignity wouldn't even have entertained that fight in the first place. Let's be real. When you're heavyweight champion of the world, you can't be going around hitting 10 stone retarded guys. Sorry if you.
Stu, I said the same thing when I said the same thing when I saw that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Why would you even fucking let that kid in your gym? Or like, why would you even be in a position where you're dealing with that knucklehead? That kid's obviously something not right with that kid. Not even trying to be funny.
No, there's something really not right with him, man. You see something.
You know what I mean? Schizophrenic or something.
Do you know why there's something not right with him? Because the fucking balls he showed to turn up and fight John Day Wilder, man.
Yeah.
Some of the shit he says and does, it's just, you know what I mean? I think there's some schizophrenia going on with that kid.
That's not trolling, man. There's something not right in his head that's not wired up.
And where did Wilder, you know what I mean? Because it's not a win, it's a lose-lose situation. Oh, I'm like, you that insecure, dude? Did you really feel it necessary? Y'all see that shit? You see what I did to that fucking retarded 5'8" kid? Really?
And
you know what I mean?
Can I say something? And I think Charlie Zelenov's case is quite a sad one. I mean, because I've watched the documentary somebody did on YouTube on him, and it's like he has a stepfather who is walking around with him the town and boxing gyms, and he's the stepfather is instigating the fights, you know, those fucking pointless sparring matches that you know they don't end well for that guy, and it's just fucking sad.
Nah, fuck him, man. I hope his stepdad does it again, man, so he gets some more fucking beatings. The guy does men on Twitter.
I mean, Bellew's got to be up there, isn't it? He's got to be up there on anyone's list.
Yeah, fucking right.
The problem with Bellew, I mean, I'm sick of him crying all the fucking time. You?
Stu, the new Bellew since he beat Hay the first time, yeah.
I don't think I can hear about his kids anymore. I don't think I can see the tears and what struggle. I don't think I can talk about whether he's going to retire. I mean, he talks about retirement like anyone gives a shit, doesn't he?
No, Stu, you should have seen what he said.
I'll let you know. Hey, I'm not sure what I want to do now. Going to have a word with the wife and the kids. I'll let you when I know. You guys will know. Like anyone gives a shit. Well,
yeah, like you know, massive star. Yeah,
I'm like, take your time, Tony. Take your time. I mean, obviously, I want to see him fight again, but I'm not going to sit there and pretend I give a shit. I mean,
no, he's come out. Right, he said he wants to fight. He says he's either going to fight Ward, Fury, or the winner of Gassiev Usyk. Apparently,
the reason Bellew don't make on my list because the way he fucking called out the left wing media and the political correctness, and he says a load of bollocks. And what he said about Islamic terrorists when he said if that was him, mate, he'd fucking put them all on a fucking plane and ship them to Guantanamo Bay. And that's the sort of guy I like. So in a way, I don't like him, but he does say things that I do like. So he don't make my list. But Prince Patel, nothing I like about that guy.
Cameron, you just mentioned him. He mentioned Ward's name again.
Yeah, he says if he's going to fight again, it'll be Ward, Fury, or Gassiev Usyk.
But he said Ward first, though, right? I think I saw that.
Ward.
And Ward dropped his name like a month after he retired. I'm telling you right now. And then then Ward flew over to England. I'm telling you right now, that fucking thing's in the works. I bet you Ward's already told him, give me a year to get up to fucking heavyweight. And Hearn's already worked out the money. I mean, it's just so fucking obvious what's happened. So these people who don't buy his pay-per-views, who are on fucking Twitter giving people a hard time, talking about fucking Ward's retired and he didn't just avoid Bivol and fucking Better Be Off and all the other light heavyweights. Bullshit. He had his hands full. He lost both those fights. Well, he lost the first one and he fucking low-blowed his way into the second one. But he wasn't
Jimmy, the thing is, like I said, he avoided the other guys in that division. There's some monsters in that division. So he goes up the cruiserweight, but who's the guy he wants? He doesn't want Gassiev. He doesn't want Usyk. He wants
a domestic level fucking dude. You know what I mean? That's all. With the big enough name. He even probably was pushing the hay fights.
I'll tell you what, though. The thing is, don't think I'm stupid here, but Bellew is not going to roll over in that fight. Bellew has a very good chance of knocking Andre Ward out.
Yeah, a cruiserweight or heavyweight, yeah.
I'll be the biggest Bellew fan that night. You kidding me? I have my Bellew t-shirt on.
He'll probably fight Bellew at a catchweight.
If Ward goes to cruiserweight, right? But the difference is from light heavyweight to cruiserweight, it's a massive jump. It's like 25 fucking pounds and 20 pounds. 20 pounds. So he's got to put on 20 pounds. That's going to slow him down massively. Yeah, 25 pounds. That's going to slow him down massively. Do you know what I mean? So that could take away his.
I'm sure
he's not going to be as strong in the hold. He's not going to be as strong in the hold.
Exactly.
He's not going to be able to wrestle and grapple and fucking. He ain't going to be able to do that.
But knowing Ward, he'll figure something out to put things in his favor. It'll be a catch weight, certain size gloves, where they fight. No matter what, he'll bend to whatever fucking thing he can to him will be bent to him.
Yeah, and I'd like to follow up on Jimmy's words. I just wanted to mention that when Andre Ward was giving his HBO promo with Dmitry Bivol, and did you see that interview, guys? Basically, it was an interview. They sat one-on-one on beside the table, and they talking about boxing. And Andre Ward suddenly said that, some people say that you might be probably the reason I retired from the light heavyweight division, and they both fucking laugh, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
That was a tell. That was just him admitting it right there.
Yeah.
Because trust me, that motherfucker's blocked. He's blocked everybody on Twitter who would have said that. You know what I mean? So who else said that to him? That's him in his own mind because he knows that's what he did. He didn't want nothing to do with any of those guys.
Hey, what's this I'm hearing about Deontay Wilder going down a cruiserweight? Is that true?
Yeah, I heard about that too. He put it on Instagram.
Why would he do that? I don't get
because he's
why he would
attention
do that.
whore.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'd love to see what.
I think he can make the weight as well. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, his fucking legs are going to look like olive oils from Popeye, aren't they? But the time if he cruiserweight, it's just going to be sticks.
Straw pasta.
It's going to be like chopsticks. But I don't get why he'd fucking want to do it. If you're the heavyweight champion of the world, I just don't.
No, he said after, bro. He said after he's unified the whole division after.
Yeah, but that doesn't even make any sense. Let's say he's the unified heavyweight champion of the world. Why would he want to go down a cruiserweight?
Yeah, there's no money there.
Well, maybe he's cutting down on something, and he knows he's going to start losing weight. I don't know.
Maybe caught 8 or something.
He's on the AIDS diet. Is that what you're saying? Fuck, man.
That's a good diet.
That lot everywhere after.
He's going to be like Eazy-E, isn't he?
Oh, come on. Why you gotta?
Come on, man.
Why do you have to diss Eazy-E like that? Huh? Come on. What's the matter with you? You guys are getting very rambunctious today. You're making fun of everybody. That's not the beat.
Like Recognize said, no disrespect.
Yeah, no disrespect. I know I got out of line, but but still,
no disrespect.
Out of control, man.
No, I lost all respect.
Nah, you insulted him a little bit. Just
a little bit.
But
yourself. He was acting out of line. Just a little bit.
God forbid I say anything about NWA. So I mean,
exactly. By the way, did you guys hear? I don't understand. We were talking about Adrian Broner trying to make out with Tank Davis the other day, and you know Adrian Broner is a rapper, right? Like he makes some rap music and all that.
Is that what you call it?
It's a homophobe. Yeah.
Well, and I think I don't understand how.
One decent song, and then that's it.
Yeah, I don't understand how people didn't get it, man. Like, I'll play you a little clip of one of his new tracks, and I mean, it's pretty obvious the guy's into some weird shit, man.
I think about this dude that I fucked last night, and how his dick was big and his ass was tight, sucking on my cock like a candy cane, rubbing on my balls and fucking out my brains.
I mean, come on, man.
One never knows when the homosexual is about. He may appear normal, and it may be too late when you discover he is mentally ill.
You are getting it, for sure.
I mean, listen, nothing against...
These fucking soundboards, man.
I'm not playing that, by the way.
No. But the thing is, I'm seeing a lot of this in this so-called hip-hop world at the moment. It's just rife with these homo thugs.
It's because they're run by the gay mafia. That's why.
The gay mafia.
You guys know who Fat Joe is, right?
Music industry is run by the gay mafia.
I mean, our times have changed, innit? When I was young, the only gay artist around was probably Freddie Mercury, but a gay famous person was Freddie Mercury. Now we've got Broner and everyone. Fuck's sake. So I've changed, man.
Hey, what about George Michael?
You want to hear a joke?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
What's the difference between Adrian Broner as a rapper and a tire?
Adrian Broner.
If you put a chain, if you put a chain around the tire, it doesn't start rapping.
Now wait a minute, jeez, Louise. I mean, come on, Pavel. I don't know what's the matter with you. Listen, you people. I just want to remind everybody right now. BDA and King Butcher, the BDA organization, does not endorse the views of everybody that's in here speaking. All right,
What was wrong with what I said?
Was that?
Nothing. It's funny.
Yeah, it was fucking funny. It was a great joke. What's your problem?
He's getting upset.
BDA is in Canada. He's got to watch his ass, man.
Absolutely. There you go. Are you starting to get it now?
Here,
liberal hellhole.
Yeah, I mean, just look at their prime minister talking to homosexuals.
Oh God, bring him up again.
And by the way, let me ask. I want to ask Stu something.
Hey, that guy.
I want to ask Stu something. What?
Can you? Hey, good job. Good job. Can you imagine him being a leader back in the day, going to battle with him? Would you want to stand behind him going to war? You wouldn't, would you?
Well, not. I would rather stand behind him than.
Did you guys see his boxing fight though? He did a boxing fight.
Throwing daffodils.
Wait, what do you say, Butcher?
Boxing fight. Did you guys see his boxing fight? He had a boxing fight. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister. He fought a senator.
Did he get bad? Did he get bad around the ring?
I sent you the fights too. I think you didn't see it, but yeah, he actually won the fight. But man, he can't hit for shit. And apparently, he says he trains boxing and everything. That's complete bullshit.
He won the fight. Who was he fighting? Fucking Rick Moranis.
Oh, come on. Would you stop insulting Rick Moranis? He's a Canadian institution. He's a Canadian treasure. And you just keep insulting the guy. Come on.
That's the guy Strange Brew, right? Rick Moranis?
I think so. Yeah, he was in the
That's a classic movie, Strange Brew.
Wait a minute, Strange Brew. Is that the one where it's the guys that they're trying to get
brothers.
free beer? Yeah.
Two brothers, all they want to do is drink. They have to go to that fucking brewery to get more beer, eh?
Yeah, they show
hilarious.
that.
My favorite movie with Rick Moranis was Spaceballs by Mel Brooks. It was fucking hilarious.
I actually think that movie's a little bit over. Okay, listen, but sorry, I wanted to ask Stu something because there's a lost episode out there of Second Renaissance and it's a good thing that it was a bit of a blessing in disguise that it never aired because people opened up a lot, and I don't know if it was in the heat of the moment, and I don't know if people really wanted what they said in that episode to stay on the internet forever. But that being said, one of the things that we did discuss was Stu mentioned demons. Like Stu believes in demons. Now, we were talking about the rap industry, and Apology Man said that there's this, people, it's run by a lot of gay people, and that they make other upcoming rappers have to, do that type of stuff. There's also a lot of videos out there on YouTube about how the rappers are possessed by demons. Now, Stu, is this a bit of a stretch for you, or is this something that you look at and you go, you know what? No, I'm not being facetious or anything.
Listen,
yeah.
You can see. You have to look in their eyes to see their behavior. I mean, just erratic behavior, and I mean, when you look for a demon, you just look for a human being that's not on the same planet as you are right now. They're just fucking in a world of their own. They've got dark eyes. Michael, stop.
Wait a minute. Come on. Come on.
That sort of person.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not.
Now, wait a minute. Exactly.
My Michael Scott like that, man.
I'm only playing. I just get a dig in. No, but like I said, it's hard. I don't know what rappers you're on about, so it's hard for me to comment on this. But
Fat Joe.
Oh, said, Fat Joe. I'm not sure about him.
No. I'm saying Fat.
Yeah, he's
Joe
just a fat ass. Man.
He said in an interview that hip hop is run by the gay mafia.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hearing rumors that Tupac was one as well.
Yeah, those have been around for a while, man. Yeah, that was the big one about because at a certain point, and he was all talking about women and all that. Like he was talking. There's a video out there on YouTube where you can see the difference. He's talking about women like they're these delicate creatures and all that. And then they show an interview from years on, and he's like, "Fuck bitches" and blah blah blah. And it's like he did a complete 180. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that he switched teams, but it is a little bit bizarre. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know. Listen, all I wanted to get to was that whole thing about because sometimes. You see these performers and they talk about their alter egos, I have an alter ego when I hit the stage and blah blah blah. And I don't know, is this them just being pretentious or is this them really dealing with something else? I don't know. It was just
Nicki
a question.
Minaj is a strange one.
Now, do you guys find her attractive or is she just
I'll fuck her, yeah. I'll be the first one to admit it, but
She's
never marry her.
Sierra's the show, man.
Like,
She'd took a golf ball for a straw, wouldn't she?
She'd take a what?
Yeah, she's been around. She's like doing every rapper.
She took a golf ball for a straw.
Was that?
You know what? What's the one thing that
Who is this? Who are we talking about?
Minaj.
Nicki Minaj.
Oh, well, she's got a fat ass.
Yeah, that's
all that's going for her.
Yeah, that's it. Okay,
you know what? And she's for me, she's from. I've had great experience with girls from Trinidad, so
she's got an ugly face, though, man. Her face is not attractive at all.
I think she's got an identity crisis. I think,
dude,
this girl,
she believes herself to be an alter ego. She has like a few of them.
A white girl, I think, a white girl as well. I mean, she's
right.
bleaches her skin.
That sounds gay also talking.
Green contacts in her eye. She wears a blonde weave. I mean, that skin's getting lighter. That skin's getting lighter by the day. I'm telling you, she'll look like fucking Edward Scissorhands the way she's fucking going.
Guys, you know.
Michael Jackson.
Go ahead, Pavel. Go ahead.
Just one thing. One thing that I don't understand about gangster rap, and I like listening to it, but one thing I don't understand is that, on typical album, one track is about you being unjustly harassed and targeted by police, and another track is about doing drive-by shootings and selling cocaine. Like, what the fuck, man? Decide.
That's a good point. But they're just keeping it real, man.
Most of those are fake anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Most of them. I mean, look, listen. It's become so commercialized for a long time now. It's all about building a fake reputation and then rapping it. But you're right. I mean, the Pavel's point is that that music industry is doing itself no favor. It's doing no favors to the culture, the overall black culture, and it's at some point you gotta grow up. Somebody wanted to talk about that a long time ago about the correlation between single mothers and children that end up being criminal or end up.
I did.
You did, yeah. So that's a big one right there. But
fact.
Chris Gonzalez
80% of inmates grew up in a single mother household, so go figure.
We can't say that for sure though, because then the people come after us. But by the way, Chris Gonzalez is saying, shout out to Chris, but he says BDA is the head of the gay mafia. Now wait a minute, I take offense to that. I am an open-minded person, but I am in no way related to anything that could be described as the gay mafia. First of all, and if there is a gay mafia, I think it's like with the Italian mafia. You never admit that there is a mafia. So if I was the head of the, and by the way, why do you gotta say head of the gay mafia?
Conspiracy theory. BDA is the head of the gay mafia.
Chris Gonzalez is the one that comes up with these crazy conspiracy theories. He's the one that came up with the Bucho and BDA are the same person. I mean, come on, the guy's insane.
There's some truth to that. I could see where they can confuse you for Bucho.
Because they don't talk at the same time.
You say about the music industry, the rapping industry, right, being full of homosexuals. But I was watching an interview with a woman, and she was the wife of this really high CIA guy, I think it was, or secret services, and he knew about. Basically, he was an Illuminati. He was a Freemason as well, and one of the main guys. And she said it was rife where they would go and have these guys, powerful people, sometimes politicians, leaders of the FBI and the CIA, go and have orgies with gay orgies and that lot. And she said it was rife, and she knew. She was the wife. She just turned a blind eye to it. But she said they were all homosexuals. So let's be real. The world seems to be run by them these days, not just the rap industry. Well, I mean, you've only got to turn the TV on. It's everywhere in your face, isn't it? It's everywhere. You can't have a TV show without your token fucking gay boy, can you? Prancing around like a fairy for an hour. It just won't, you know. It's true, isn't it? Everywhere you go, it's there. I mean, they're feminizing these fucking young kids, these young boys, teaching them it's okay to play with dolls. Do you know what I mean?
That's what's going on with crime. With crime is like that, man.
What do you mean?
The crime rate of most young men who commit violent crimes, the one thing that they mostly have in common, the majority of them, is that they come from single mothers. They come from single mothers, and a woman cannot teach a fucking boy how to be a man. It's just impossible.
That's true. So
feminine boys with feminine, like I think it was Precise that said, homo thugs are the most they're dangerous people. He's right, because a lot of these people, a lot of them have something to prove. And also single mother, single mother household, and they're men. They're obviously biological men who are emotional like women. You add the two, especially when they're young growing up, right? It's a recipe for disaster. That's why most of the prison house, if you was to go today and do a survey, most of these kids come from single mother background.
Yeah, because the thing is, you can love your mum. Your mum can be the most important thing in your life, but you'll never have that bond time. Where you go and play football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. Or you go and watch a football game, or go out and have a pint with my mum. I never do anything. I love my mum, but I never do anything. We don't go, because everything I like, she don't like. So we've got nothing in common. Where when you with your dad, you can go and do male things. That bonding time is very important. Very important as a child, because you get, and then while you're doing that bonding time, he can teach you how to be a man, how to speak to your elders, how to speak to women, how to conduct yourself. Well, a lot of women
control your anger.
You got to remember, when you live with a woman, just you and a woman. Say if you're the only single son and you've got no brothers or sisters, and it's just you and your mum. A woman can be nagging in your ear hole constantly, and it can drain the soul from you, and that's what makes you angry, because you're constantly getting nagged. And there's just
I didn't have my old man around, man, like at all from my life.
Don't get wrong, not everyone, but this is the problem, where you'd probably sit and argue with your mum, and fucking sit there and falling out with her. But if your dad was there, you wouldn't say half the stuff to your mum, because out of respect for your old man, you wouldn't do it because you get slapped.
So my old man left when I was 4 years old, man. When I was 4 years old, he left, and he didn't have me in life. But to be fair, man, for a bloke, I never got into trouble, anything like that, man. I'm actually turned out all right, even though I didn't have a male figure around. So it was mostly because my mum was big, though.
You've admitted yourself you've had issues yourself.
Oh yeah,
right?
my temple growing up was horrific.
Yeah, because like I said, you had no male discipline. This is the point I was getting. When you had, my dad was fucking strict, military strict. I mean, when I used to get home from school, I had to do weight training and football control because I was a footballer, weren't I? And I'd have to do training, and it'd give me a diet. I can go and have McDonald's burgers and stuff like that. I had fucking cabbage on my plate most days and broccoli and shit like that. A really strict regime. I couldn't go out clubbing with my mates. I had to be in for a certain time, and I learned discipline. I mean, if I back chatted my old man, I got smacked up, simple as. But you can't do it these days. And I think, but that taught me how to be a man. And I think that's what a woman can't do.
Speaking of being a man, I think we should all take a minute to ponder and think about what Dr. Phil said the other day. No, I'm kidding. I wanted to ask you guys something. Would you?
I had to teach myself. I had to teach myself how to be a man. Like, I had to teach myself how to, talk to a woman. Yeah, I mean, I had to teach myself all this. I had to go through shit on my own to be a man, if you know what I mean. Not actually have somebody teach me how to be a man.
I got a question real quick, because one of the memes I've been seeing around the internet lately is about all these guys that end up getting not circumcisions, but snipped. What do they call it?
Vasectomy.
Vasectomy. Thank you. Fuck. Yeah, the vasectomies, and then their wives or girlfriends end up buying them gifts, like like a new PlayStation, whatever, or the new Xbox, which I don't know what it is. Like they get them video games and all that. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Is this something that's just a meme, or is this something that's really going on? Like all these guys getting vasectomies because their wives or girlfriends make them.
I'm gonna send you a picture, and you have to put it up.
Guys, really quick, do you ever wonder why women, feminists, go after Western men but don't go after the Muslim men?
I can answer that. Can I answer that?
Go ahead, Prodigy. Go ahead.
It's all about the money. It's all about the money. Hamed doesn't have any money, but flipping Donald Trump has all the money. So that's it. They're full of shit. It's always about the money.
Let's be real. A lot of these feminists, they come from the universities, brainwashed by cultural Marxist professors to hate the white man and to be the victim. Look what the white man's done. You've only been able to vote for so many years. Can you remember when you couldn't go to work? Can you remember where your husband used to beat you and things like that? Drilling hate against men. And it's a lot of this feminist. It's a white male thing. It's not an anti-male thing. I can understand if it's an anti-male thing, but it's not. It's the white male thing. But let's call it what it is. Feminism is anti-white male.
Well, you know something. Look, I agree with that to an extent. I think you have there's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of evidence to that.
I know this. Sorry to interrupt you quickly.
I was going to say.
I know there's other. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Recognise quickly. I know there's other races of girls that have jumped on the feminist bandwagon, and now they're doing the same thing to their men than what ours are doing to us. With the white women telling them, "Don't take that. Don't you go. You don't." So in their ear holes. So I understand that, but it is started from what feminism started from white females, and that's where I'm coming from. But you got to recognise.
What I was going to say was that there's a lot of evidence to what you're saying, but in a broader sense, what I mean by the Western man, right? I'm talking about its culture. You see, feminism, this wave of feminism has like made men in the West like such wimps. Yeah. This is a theory that I heard, and it kind of makes sense. Even before I heard it, I thought to myself the same thing. That if you look at the Muslim faith, who's definitely, if feminism should be protesting about how women are treated, is in the Muslim religion. I'm sorry, I don't mean to just point them out specifically, but they should be protesting them. All right, with some of the practices that they have and some of the laws, especially Sharia law, right? So a theory that I heard was that maybe the Western woman, hates us for being such punks, the way we are.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Where the Muslims, I guess, never bought into that, I guess, is the best way to say it.
No, if you look at Islam culture,
I'm not gonna totally agree with that. What you're saying has got some good points, but there's a lot of males out there that are alpha male and know how to play their role, and they're not allowed to by these savages. That,
wait a minute! Wait a minute!
Trying to wear to wear the trousers that threaten you with the courts every time with your children and everything else, and that threaten to take your car. Fuck me, do you know what I mean? You no wonder men are silent. They've got nowhere to stand. A woman can kick you out your own home and then leave you on the fucking street, and you're the one paying the bills. So it's not because men are cowards. It's because the government have made it so men can't say anything. Because if we do, we're in the shit. That's it. It's bullying tactics from the government.
You look at
the feminists have
Sorry about that.
Like what recognize that in Islam.
All right, hold on. One at a time. Apology. You go. What do you want to say?
I got kind of distracted.
No, recognize go.
I'm at work.
Yeah. By the way, you're breaking up a little bit. Your volume is good now, but you're breaking up a little bit. But go ahead. See if we can hear you.
Go ahead. Sorry about that. I'm at work. How about now?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So in other words, what I meant to say was that the Western men have, obviously, they're still alpha males, and that will never change. Obviously, there will always be men who will be men. But the pressure of all these political movements, these Me Too's and all that, right? That has made men sort of like soft in the West. The new culture is the man is more submissive now and willing to, because they don't want no heat on them, like in other words, they're willing to submit to these women's ways, where the Muslim men, right, who are not put under this same scrutiny, right? They're not put on for the way they treat women, the way, in their culture. I'm not saying that they're savages, but they look at women as second citizens, right? They in Sharia law, their testimony is half that of a man, right? Mm-hmm. So they're not changing their way, the male dominant way, where us in the West, we are. You know what I'm saying? The culture is,
I think,
even if we don't do it individually, as a whole, right? That is the new thing. That is what the Western man is known for. Into women's demands.
It's interesting. Hold on, Pavel. Go ahead, Pavel.
I'm just gonna say that I think the submissiveness of Western males, new males, and the not many, maybe oppressiveness of Muslim of women in Muslim culture is on the same spectrum, and you have to find that sort of sweet spot, that balance, when you're dealing with them.
I agree. There needs to be a balance. You can't go all the way. Now, I think Lighthearted, you wanted to say something? You've been silent for a while.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, a pretty good example. I'm from Kazakhstan. It's kind of a mixture. We have 90% of us kind of Muslims, but we are not hardcore Muslims. So it's there are a lot of people who drink, who smoke cigarettes, etc. And it's not even during these months of Ramadan, like 50% of Muslims, they just don't do it. And women in our culture, they respect men, and they like to be treated as women.
Submissive.
Yeah, they know their role, bro. They know their role.
Yeah, but even
they know they have this connection to tradition that they are women and they should select an alpha male kind of who would be who would provide for her and be a good father and raise kids with her. So it's kind of a balance. I have in my firm there are like 70% of women, and they are making they're good, having good careers. Some of them already made partners and directors, managers, etc. And they have this respect, utmost respect for males, and in their families they respect their men and obey. It's I think it's a sweet spot.
And you know what? I think you hit a nail on the head. I've seen the documentary on YouTube's Olympic channel, and there was a promo of Daniel Yeleusinov and the Kazakh culture of horse meat and its consumption and its relation to fighters, right? To their performance. And there was a cameo that Yeleusinov and his family, and you know, his wife was wearing a hijab, and it wasn't like it didn't seem to me like it was oppressive at all. It was a rather healthy family looking.
The worst.
Thing is, though, this is why feminism is a fraud, right? Because we was just talking about the women in different cultures and different countries, how they're treated. Now, maybe some people think that's probably the way you should go. Obviously, I don't agree with like oppressing women and beating them up. That's not me at all. But a woman knowing her role, a man being the lion and the woman being the lioness. But this is where these feminists are frauds, because you never see them fighting the rights of these women across the world that are being oppressed. They're silent. They're more worried about themselves and the women in the West who have got every right that we have. They've got more rights, if anything. They've got more power than we have. They can chuck us out of our own house, take our kids off us. So they're the most powerful people in the West. Yeah, they're playing the victim. That's exactly right. Yeah,
it's because it's because the West has the money. Like I said before,
it's a fraud. They're frauds. If they were for women's rights and women's equal rights, they'd be fighting for all women and not just their own in the West.
You know what? It's interesting that you said that you don't agree with punching women and all that, and yet you're the guy that choked out a midget. So I mean, let's keep it real here, like you always say, Stu. I mean,
she wasn't a midget. She wasn't a midget at all.
You guys hear me?
You're mixing up the stories, BDA.
Yeah, you're mixing the story up, BDA.
It was
corruption in boxing.
One of the panelists got into a fight with a midget.
I think it was corruption in boxing, but I remember, yeah. I remember something about you with a midget and a scarf. Anyway.
Oh, what, when she started smacking him in the face and I had to get him in a UFC hold, didn't I?
Yeah, it wasn't a midget then, okay. I thought it was a midget, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't get to your...
in the face.
Dude, women love dangerous men, bottom line.
Absolutely.
Women love...
Because they think based on their mission.
That's why. Stop being dangerous. That's it. Just never.
Yeah, that's why. That's why you'd be surprised.
You get yourself arrested.
You'd be surprised, right? How many women,
but dangerous at the same time.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many women prison officers get fucking a good seeing to in the cells. I mean, it's common. Loads of. I mean, women prison officers are getting pregnant by inmates and shit. So. You could have a point there. I know a girl from where I'm.
Nasty, to that point, Stuart. That's just a nasty slut. I mean, think about it. What kind of fucking woman that works as a correctional officer wants a kid with a man who's going to be doing the rest of his life in prison? I mean, that's insane. That's sickness.
That's biology.
I know. Hey, there's this girl, right, that lives around. I've known her for years, since we was kids. Quite a pretty girl, but she's got a few miles on the clock. Let's just say that. Do you know what I mean?
A few miles, Stu?
Well, just put it this way: someone did a slut list on Facebook the five biggest sluts in the film, and she was on the fucking list. You know what I mean? So tells you. And she got a job in the fucking prison, didn't she? And she was in there about 2 months. Next minute, sacked, innit? Fucking, some fucking yardie had fucking slipped her a length and got her pregnant, innit? Fuck's sake.
Of course.
All right, now listen.
Now she's fucking. Now she's working in a shop or something.
I gotta say something.
Yeah, because the father got deported when his prison sentence was up. He got deported.
Jeez, what the hell? Listen, I gotta say something.
Good conversation to come back to.
Yeah, very good. Listen, I gotta. We're gonna have to end up. Butch, are you there?
Yep.
What time does Mexico play? The Mexican national team?
8.
All right, so we're gonna have to cut this short, guys, in about 10 minutes. Nationalism calls. And by the way, when is Canada gonna go to the World Cup? Last time they went was in 1986. They need to get this. They need to take a little bit of money.
Decent players.
Well, listen. You know what they need to do? They need to get a little bit of money away from the hockey and put it into soccer. Was that apology?
I mean, I think it's to do with the culture. It's like all full of soy boys, beta males. Like you can't play football. You need like strong, athletic men to do that, and Canada's not full of that.
What do you look? Have you ever seen hockey? These fucking guys are good in there. It's a
gay mafia.
Like, listen, Canada is just not a big football country because for most of the time we got snow and ice, and you can't. The football season here with the MLS, it lasts about 2.5 months, 3 maybe. I don't know, but listen, it's not a big soccer nation, but at least I get to root for Mexico as well. We are going to be doing a World Cup show, by the way. We actually started talking a bit about.
When is that?
Yeah, when is that, Bucho? When is that first episode?
No idea. I have to talk with Stu. And
no idea. All right.
Who are you rooting for?
What shows are you talking about?
The World Cup show. Like how we have to talk about it. Like when you want to do it and all.
Oh yeah, man. Whenever, innit? You're gonna have to send me no, I'll look into it myself. I'm gonna just look at the fixture list and we'll talk about the games, innit? And talk about who we fancy to win the tournament, and then just do reviews and shit, innit? The big games.
San Marino.
Well, San Marino ain't at the World Cup, are they? Let's be real.
Okay, looking.
Yeah, I can still remember in England when they got.
I think it's a very open tournament, to be honest with you. There's no major favourites really. I mean, but you've always got to fancy Brazil. I mean, but the Germans don't look that strong. The French are up and down. The Italians are not even there. The Dutch ain't even there. But Spain do look good. But then, Spain.
Recently, man. They've looked very sloppy.
I mean, you got to fancy the RGs. I mean, you got to fancy them as well to do well. Even Mexico, are they there?
Yeah.
I mean, Mexico, you got to fancy them to do okay as well. They're not a bad side. Mexico got some good players.
England.
That's what I was going to say about England. An Australian guy said this a long time ago, and I sort of tend to agree. And I know it's not the nicest thing to say, but a lot of British players, they tend to get overhyped simply because they play in the Premier League. And one guy called them manufactured football stars. And the peak of that was in 2010 when you had, what was the name of the Italian guy? Fabio Capello. Whatever. Yeah.
Fabio Capello.
I mean, to the British team's credit, they were looking pretty good in the friendlies prior to the World Cup, but then once they got to the World Cup.
But the thing is, though, like I said, I think the last show, we played 4-4-2 with no left-sided players, no natural left-sided players at all. So you're playing a player out position for a start. Our best midfielder, Paul Scholes. Did he play? I think he played on the left. If he did play, we had the shape was all horribly wrong. We had the players. We just didn't have the.
You were playing Slovenia, I think, USA, and what's the other country?
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like I said, yeah, we've been piss poor. That's why I'm not getting too excited. I'm not going to get excited about England at a World Cup until I see them start doing something. Problem
with England is they pissed the qualifiers, Then they're absolutely shit when they come against legit teams.
It's a joke, man.
Yeah, thing is, though, Roy Hodgson, right? We went through the group stage, I think, and beaten, won most of our games, and then we get to a World Cup, and he changes the system.
Yeah.
Can I ask you one thing, guys? I have very limited knowledge on football, right? So I just want to ask one thing. What's with those football greats like Cristiano Ronaldo who are playing mad games, right? And suddenly they act like a bitch, acting and simulating a foul. You know, is it a part of football culture or something?
Yes, unfortunately.
It is.
Trying to get a free kick or a penalty.
It's a culture. It's a culture for being a pussy, basically. Football is.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's no
Okay,
cameras.
thanks.
Well, now they're using cameras finally to fucking review everything. Before they didn't, right? So the ref just sees one guy on the floor and the red card, man. Like,
I tell you what, a lot of people say footballers are pussies, but I can tell you now, you wouldn't want to get in a fight with a footballer. A lot of them can fucking fight, mate.
Look at Sterling. Look at who saw Sterling's dive tonight.
No, I'm not about Sterling. But I mean, there's a lot of players out there. There's a lot of players out there that you wouldn't want to fight. Trust me.
Yeah, I know that, man. But there's a lot of pussies in the game.
When Rooney got knocked out in the kitchen doing some sparring, did you guys see that?
In a kitchen?
Yeah, Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney. That was Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
He was knocked out. Yeah.
Who knocked him out there?
Who was it who knocked Rooney out?
Sorry. His friend. I don't know who he is though, but he threw
someone hit Rooney. They're pissing about sparring, and someone knocked Rooney out in the kitchen. There's a video of it online.
Yeah.
Sterling's dive tonight. Sterling's dive tonight against Nigeria was horrific, man. England got no fucking hope in this World Cup.
I didn't even know that game was on.
Yeah, they won 2-1.
Yeah, I know. I saw it earlier, but I didn't even know the game was on.
Hey, by the way, speaking of
England need
football,
to start winning me back, man. They've just done nothing to win me back.
Steve Cameron, what do you think of the England squad?
Oh man,
it's so poor.
Yeah, I mean they didn't put Wilshere in it, man.
No.
Oh, Jake Livermore. I mean, fucking hell. The only thing that guy did this last season was get relegated with West Brom.
Yeah. I mean, look, you only got to look at our keepers in the World Cup to show that we're really fucking lacking.
I mean, lacking everywhere, really. I mean, midfield's not too bad, but
I mean, who we got up front? Harry Kane
and Vardy and Rashford in the bench.
How old is Vardy? He's like
29.
Rashford's actually quite.
I mean, Harry Kane. I guarantee it, Harry Kane will be absolute flop in this World Cup.
I don't know. I don't think he will.
I don't think he'll score that many more.
Because Rashford, I think he's really good. He just needs more opportunities.
Kane scores. Kane's a goal machine. Kane scores in any competition.
What happened to Danny Welbeck?
Oh, come on, man.
Danny Welshit.
Jesus. The guy can't hit a fucking shot on target in any game. He fucking falls over most of the time. He's playing fucking.
He's like.
Hey, by the way, Dan asks a good question. He says, "Is England better at boxing or at football?"
Boxing.
I would say boxing.
I would say boxing at this point.
I think we hold our own in boxing. When you think how small our country is, man, we've got some good fighters, haven't we?
On the football, Man United are bidding for Bale, weren't they? 90 million or something like that. So point in that, he's a fucking injury-prone player.
They're not getting him, man. They're not going to get him anyway, especially after the Champions League final.
Hey, Butcho, do you rate fucking Paul Pogba?
Oh, he's shit.
He's not that bad. He was better when he was at.
He's not worth the money that he got paid for.
Exactly. He went to the Premier League, and I don't know what the fuck Mourinho did with that guy, but he's not that good.
Man United have got all these good players, but Mourinho just can't get tactics right this day and age.
No.
Mourinho's just not the guy he was, say, 10 years ago.
Hey, look what Mourinho. Do you know why I've gone off Jose Mourinho? Look what he's done to Chelsea, man. Look at the players. Kevin De Bruyne. He sold him. We had him. Mohamed Salah. We had Mohamed Salah. We had him as well. We had Lukaku. You know, we had him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Andre Schürrle. Yeah, I didn't like him. Look, all these players.
He's pretty decent.
We had all that. We had, look at it. They're 3 world-class players that you just let go.
Yeah.
I mean, he got rid of Lukaku and brought Didier Drogba back. The guy was like 34, 30. I mean, I can't.
I'll say this about sports, because we're talking about, I used to get, like I think I said this before in another podcast, I used to get very excited about the World Cup because it's every 4 years and it's like you get all these countries playing and all that. But now I'm thinking, because I read, I mean, I heard a radio show a long time ago and I forget the name of the book, but this guy was talking about organized crime and sports, and he was saying that all sports are fixed. Now, there was a guy on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about, he was a bodybuilder, and he said that I think the UFC or MMA or something, they changed it from mixed martial arts or combat sports, and I think legally in certain commissions it's actually called something entertainment. In other words, according to that loophole, that technical term, they can actually fix the fights. That's what he said. I haven't checked that out or anything, but that's why sometimes I'm thinking, well, you know, we're talking about all this, you know, sports and all that. Do you think there's so much money involved in this? Like, it can't be not fixed, right? Like, there has to be a little bit of.
Well, fucking Juventus got relegated for it, didn't they?
Right.
They
right.
won. They got relegated 2 divisions, I think. Do you know what I mean?
No,
So,
1 division. Serie B there.
Was it 1? Yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. It still cost them a lot. They took the titles off them, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And Antonio Conte got done for that as well. So, yeah, the football, especially in Italy, because the mafia are heavily involved. So the fixing was quite bad there.
Football's changed big time. I remember, like, when I was growing up, you had, like, you know, Italy, you know, teams like AC Milan, Inter Milan were huge teams, man. Great teams. And the Italian leagues are just so shit nowadays. You got Juventus and Napoli, I think. I mean, that's just.
Shit.
Yeah. I remember when I used to watch Serie A, and back then you had to have one of them big fucking satellite dishes in your garden. You know, the ones that.
Yeah.
Well, we had to have one of them, and we used to pick Rai Uno and Rai Due, the Italian channels, and they also used to have the big Italian games. The Italian commentary, but who gave a fuck? That was when AC Milan had Rijkaard and Hullet and Van Basten, and Inter had Bremen, was it Bremer, Mateus and Klinsmann, and do you know what I mean? That long before Kaká. This is like fucking what. I tell you, I used to like the Mexican. Who was the guy that played for Real Madrid? Was it Hugo Sanchez?
Oh yeah.
Well, what he was probably the best Mexican player I've seen.
Well, Deportivo La Coruña were actually a very good Spanish team once upon its time.
All right, listen, guys.
They won the league once.
This is just a little preview. This is just a little preview of what we're gonna get with the fucking football show. But as of right now, we do have to go. I hope it hasn't started yet, the show. But listen, I mean the kickoff. Thanks everybody who joined on the hangout. I want to thank Recognize, Precise, Stu, Pavel, what's Lighthearted. We got that. I mean, if you want to change your name, we'll work on that. I want to thank Cameron. I want to thank Apology. I want to thank Jimmy's Corner, who was here earlier. And did I forget anybody? Boxing Junkie he couldn't be here this time, I suppose. But thanks to all of you guys for showing up, man. You really made this show entertaining, as always. We'll be back with more boxing next week when Terence Crawford takes on Jeff Horn. I think it's going to be an interesting fight. We'll see what happens. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us here. I'm just going to read a couple of messages and thank everybody in the chat room. So if you want to drop off and enjoy the rest of your weekend, thanks a lot for joining. What was I going to say? Oh, yes, don't forget to check out our Patreon page. Don't forget you can leave small tips on the super chat so we can get that call-in show off the ground. We can take calls. We can take phone calls from any and everybody, people across the country, the nation, and we will get. I'm sure we're going to get a couple of wackos in there. We've already had a couple on this show, but I mean, this is good, man. We talk to everybody, right? Also, I want to. Oh yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget, we're going to be doing, there's a video for the Patreon subscribers that we're going to be uploading tonight. And that's really about it, you know. It's all about it. We're going to keep doing the shows maybe this week. And we got a fucking Butcher. We got to get a second renaissance of the Butcher's Gone. All right, so listen, guys. Thanks again for being on. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on the next one, folks. Take care.